What up, what up, what up, YouTube? Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everybody is doing well. Listen, before we get into the live stream, make sure you go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. I want to make sure that the audio is good, y'all. It is raining and storming, so I hope we don't have a struggle stream because it is storming outside. So let's just pray we don't have a struggle stream, y'all. But definitely put a 1 in the chat to make sure you can hear me perfectly fine, that the audio is good. And we gonna jump right into it. So, can women raise sons? Single mother snaps on her 17-year-old son and wants him arrested. We're gonna get into the video clip. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to you all, Samuel Blackman, Trey Referee, 100% Extreme Picks, XYZ in the building. Yes, hit the like button, you guys, as you come in. Lorenzo Redmond, Divine Photos, what's going on? Fourth Dimension, Dante. Who else? Let me see. Edward in the building, Hustle the Great. Romel Ross, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the building, y'all. Quinn in the building. C. Irving, what's going on? C. Irving in the building. Shout out to you guys. And Lorenzo Redmond. Shout out to everybody watching, everybody who supports the channel. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button on your way into the building. Hit the like button, y'all. That is super, super important. So we gonna hop right into the stream. What's going on, Gregory? How are you? I'm watching all the way in Haiti. Oh wow! Shout out to Haiti. What's going on? How's the weather out there? Shout out to you. Thank you so much for being here. What's going on, Ali? Ali in the building. Shout out to Ali. Hope all is well with you. Nick D. Chavez Greenyard in the building. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. So hit the like button as y'all come into the building. Make sure you hit the like button, y'all. So I want to get into this topic of, can women raise sons? I thought this was an interesting topic because I saw this clip that's been going around on social media, and I thought it was interesting to share. And I want to share it with you guys, and I want to get your thoughts. So make sure you chime in the chat. Can women raise sons? We've asked this question before. Is there a difference between sons who are raised by mothers, single mothers, versus sons who are raised by fathers, and are sons who are raised by, a 2-parent household? Is there a difference? And I want to get y'all thoughts on that. So I want to just hop right into the clip, and I want to get y'all thoughts on it. We're going to get into it. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, if you are new in the building and you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is free to subscribe. Share and like the stream, y'all. And also support the channel. Support the channel via Super Chat, Cash App, and also by, purchasing merchandise. The link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to do that. And also just hitting the like button. It's free to do that. So make sure you're doing that as well. So we're going to hop right into it. Let's get into the first clip that I have for you guys. Let me, 1 second. Here we go.
A whole set of lies. All this nigga do is tell lies. Building a whole set of lies. Can somebody help me figure out how to get your 17-year-old abuser out of your house? Oh, you want an update? That's the 12-year-old that destroyed my house over a cell phone. That's what you guys was calling him. He wasn't 12, but he's 17 now. And every time I call the cops, they don't never move him from here. Somebody want to know? Can I get some help? Abuser out of your house. Oh, you want an update? That's the 12-year-old that destroyed my house over a cell phone. That's what you guys was calling him. He wasn't 12, but he's 17 now. And every time I call the cops, they don't never move him from here. Somebody want to know? Can I get some help? Because apparently TikTok the place to go for help, because I called the police over 30 minutes ago and I'm still waiting. Yeah, I'm still waiting. Ain't nobody out here. Police! Police! Where y'all at? Because I need some help. When he destroyed my fucking house, I called for the police too. They didn't fucking come. You know how long when they came? When they got here? When everything was done, broken and destroyed. Y'all, I'm so tired of life right now. I'm supposed to be at work. I had to call off of my job for this shit. Can you imagine that? I I had to call off my job for this shit. I would have did a live, but I can't figure out how to do the fucking comments on there because somebody need to tell me how to get him out of my house. Because when you do emancipation, they want 100 million things to get their child out of your house. He threw a TV on my foot a month ago, and the police told me I gotta let him stay here. The police came here and coddled him. They came here and coddled him. He chucked me out in here this morning, and the police left him. Here comes the father of lies on the phone. I can't take you. I can't help you. That's what I told you. You don't got nobody but this mama. He don't got nobody.
First off, listen. Before we proceed into the clip, why is she yelling and screaming? This is, in my opinion, once again, is women who are unaccountable. You have to take some accountability because that's your child that you raised. The fact that she's saying the police coddled him and they didn't do anything. He's 17. Isn't that still a minor, right? In most states. You're still responsible for him, and she's done with him. This is the type of behavior I've seen a lot, where women, they single mothers most of the time. They're single mothers, and they think it's cute to become a single mother, and they raise, they have these babies, and it's cute when the babies are small because babies are cute, and it's fun and it's cute and all that, and then when it gets difficult. Especially with boys, girls too now, because some of these girls, they act a fool. But what I'm saying is, like, it's all cute in the thought process of, well, I want a child. I don't need the daddy around or whatever. And then you go and have these kids and you don't realize that this is a life that you have to take care of. This is not a toy. This is not a baby doll. It's not a game. This is a life that you actually have to take care and nurture and all of these things. It's not always easy. And they just look at it as if it's a joke, as if it's a game, when it's really not. You have to take it seriously. And a lot of these women do not. And then when the children become teenagers, now you want to just, wash your hands of them. You just want to, like, get rid of them, get them out your way. I saw a video of a woman who was saying her son eat too much. He eat like a grown man and she tired of feeding him. He needs to go. Like, it becomes difficult for them to raise their own children because they can't handle, that responsibility. And she talking to this 17-year-old boy like he's a grown man, like he's a. And listen, I'm not saying that or excusing maybe his behavior, but you got to ask, where did this behavior come from? Why is he behaving a certain way? That has something to do with his upbringing. How do you, the way she talking there shows me, where he probably get it from. I don't think they realize. I said this before. Listen, the examples that you set for your kids is how a lot of times they respond. You just can't just, raise your kids any old kind of way and then just think that they're just going to be the epitome of greatness. Like, they're just going to be great no matter what you do. But if you think about it, this is how a lot of women run their lives. This is how they think as well. They think, oh, I could just be who I want to be, ratchet. I don't care if I got an attitude. I don't care how I come across. I don't care if I don't know how to communicate. I don't care if I know how to do anything. You're supposed to accept me as I am and be, and give me the world. So, but then when it comes to their own children, you're tired of your own child and his behavior, but you're not looking at where this all stems from. You as the parent have a lot to do with that. And then she said the police coddle him, and then he's talking to he's talking to his father on the phone, and she's like, oh, the daddy ain't gonna do much. He can't do much. It's just a hot mess. And I think a lot of women just when they, that was thunder. That was loud. That scared the shit out of me. A lot of women just want to, wash their hands of their children. You don't want to deal with anything. You don't want to deal with the consequences of your actions. If you don't start out with a stable family structure where the two parents are there to raise these kids and give them the best that you could possibly give them. And then when they turn out, start acting like you or doing things that you don't like, now you just want to throw them to the police. Now you want the police to come get them. It's kind of weird, y'all. But let's continue.
Look at him. His daddy giving him excuses. He don't got nobody but his mama that he treat like shit. Giving him excuses. He don't got nobody but his mama that he treat like shit. Ain't nobody want him at their house. Nobody. Look, you see that shit right there? Oh, y'all caught this bedroom on a clean day because the garbage just went out.
You just came in.
Y'all caught this house on a clean day. Oh, look, this the door. I'm never getting my fucking deposit back in this house. I ain't getting my deposit back. Look, nigga brought the door, ripped the shit down. Like, look, punch in the door. I ain't never getting my deposit back. I'm alright with that. I ain't never getting my deposit back. That's the daddy in there giving him excuses. Ain't nobody want him at his house. His grandmama told her he don't want her at his house. There's nobody he got to run to but this dumbass mama. He don't got nobody to run to but this dumbass mama that he treat like shit. Ain't nobody want him at his house. And this motherfucker in there talking about I done lost my mind. He talking about I'm crazy. You know what? I'm crazy is right. I'm crazy as hell because I'm tired.
Okay, like, okay, so you tired. So with that, so you now you want to just wash your hands of the problem that you created, and then you want to send them to the cops. That's the solution? Just throw them away to the police and let them have their way with your son? You know, it is very mind-boggling to me, and I'm, you know, because once again, there's no accountability. Accountability is the main word, the key word. A lot of these women, see, this should be something for women who don't have kids, you know, the ones who thinking about, oh, I don't want to be married. I don't need a man, but I want a kid. I want a child. So I'm gonna just go, y'all should be watching this because this could be your future. And this could be a lesson for you to just not go out here all willy-nilly making babies with random dudes who are not prepared to be fathers. And you yourself are not really, you're not really prepared for motherhood and what it entails, and the, you know, the sacrifice and the commitment and all of that you have to make to raise children if you want to raise healthy, sane kids. A lot of these people aren't prepared to be parents. A lot of people who have children aren't meant to be parents. They're not prepared for it. But they bring these children here into these broken homes and then wonder why they have a difficult time raising these kids. And this is why I say, me personally, you know, even though I've seen single mothers raise sons, right? And some of those sons have turned out great. I've seen it. There have sons who are productive in life, and but they had to go through some changes too. They had some issues, but they made it through, and they're thriving. But they do have issues, like a lot of us who were raised in broken homes and, you know, toxic families have issues as well. So we can't, you know, make it seem, even though a lot of us are thriving, but we still had to go through some things. We still had to learn some things based off of how we were raised and the things that we were taught. But you thrive, you're thriving, but it don't mean that, you know, they're not suffering in silence in some cases. So I just think that there have been single parents, women who have raised their sons, but the majority, I don't believe that the majority of single women can raise sons properly. I don't think a woman can properly teach a man how to be a man, for sure. Because I mean, I think that's for the father. That's why you need both parents. That's why it's, you know, if it takes two to make it, it takes two to raise it. I don't think that women can properly raise sons to be men. I just don't think, and I think that is the problem that's lacking in a lot of the cases, and a lot of the times where we see these young men, you know, crashing out or acting out or doing things, is because either they don't have their fathers in their lives, either they're missing something, and you know, they start to act out. And on one hand, you could look at them and say, you know what, yeah, at 16, 17, you start smelling yourself. You thinking you're a man and you can run this house. Well, most young men will think they could run a single mother-led household, because there's no real authority. She's not a real authoritative. How you say that word? Authoritative, whatever. She's not a real threat, I would say, to him. She doesn't pose a real threat to him when they realize they're bigger than their mothers. You know what I mean? They actually they're more stronger. They start to realize that, and they realize what she says doesn't matter. All of this, in my opinion, stems from when these kids are small and these women coddle, because a lot of these women coddle their children and coddle the sons. We talked about this. You coddle the sons, and then you talk about the police coddling them when you get tired of them, when they get old and you ready to just throw them to the wolves. Now you worried about somebody else coddling them, and you coddle them from the gate. You didn't understand. A lot of women don't understand the way men raise sons and their children versus how they raise them. You know, women think men are too strict and too hard on children when they're little, not understanding that that is preparing them for later. So when you have these women who are raising these young boys by themselves, they coddle them. You coddle them. You treat them like babies. You treat them. You know, you jump to do everything for them. You don't really provide the necessary tools that the fathers would normally know how to provide, because they know what it's like to be a man and that they're raising men. Yeah, you're a baby now, but you're going to be a man one day, and I have to prepare you for that. I don't think women know how to do that. And then what happens is you coddle these little babies, these little kids, and they grow up with that mentality, and now they think that they can do whatever, and now it's out of your control, because that's what tends to happen. It's beyond your control now because you can't handle it and it's stressing you out, the issue that you created. Now you want the police to come get them. Now you want the police. You want to just throw them away. I just think that that's a big mistake. I really do. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says lack of structure and guidelines. This also stems from wanting Pookies as the donor. That child takes on the DNA of both parents as well as the trauma. Thank you, Successful MD. I appreciate you. What's going on, Frank G Life? How are you? Yeah, so I just think they create the problem, and then when they can't handle it, now you want to, throw them off onto somebody else. You don't care if the police come get them or whatever. You just want them out off of you. You don't want to have to deal with them. You don't want to take care of them. You don't want to feed them. You don't want to do anything now. And then also too, she was saying that he was on the phone with his father. Okay, so what's the father doing in this case? What type of it doesn't seem like the father is present as far as we could tell. I don't know for sure, but why can't he go with his father then? She says nobody else wants him at their house. What I mean, so you put him out, he goes somebody else, and then he can't stay there. He comes back home. What about the father? And then if you raised him in such a way where he doesn't have, the right guidance, and he don't know, he's disrespectful and he's out of line, it's because you raised him. You raised him to be that way, and now you can't deal with it. This is why I say fathers are necessary. Fathers are so, so important, because there is definitely a difference between how women raise children and how men do. It's just, and I think you need what they would call the yin and the yang. You need both sides. I think that's the whole point of having that stern father there, or you need to have the balance, in my opinion. I think you need to have the balance of what women are naturally, and you need to have what men are naturally, and the two together, to me, brings balance. And I think even including myself being raised in a single mother household, I still felt like there was no balance. I didn't have I had a stepdad at one point, but I didn't have a real father there. So I feel like I was missing something. Like there was not a balance, and you feel that, and to me that creates a certain dynamic within your head, like something it's like you can't pinpoint it, but there's something missing. You didn't have, if you didn't have a father in your life, it's a certain mentality that you have. I think, at least, even for me. So just think about young men growing up in this world without that. That's going to have some type of effect on how you think, how you see things, how you move. And you have to either have some type of mentors or people that you respect or look up to kind of help guide you in a certain way. And sometimes people have certain mentors that they look up to, and it's not always the best type of mentors. You have people who look up to gang members, who raise them and teach them a certain lifestyle, and they go with that because that's all they know. So it's really detrimental, in my opinion, for fathers to be in these sons and their children's lives. When it comes to raising young men, I just think it's absolutely necessary to have stable fathers there to teach these young men how to be men. I can't see it any other way. Yeah, if you're a single mother, of course you have to raise the child, but I don't think that you can do a really good job at it because you're not a man. You can't. You go about it the wrong way, and this is how a lot of these women. These are the type of sons that they raise. Sons who are going to be problematic. They say the majority of the the men in jail are from single mother-led households, and it makes sense. It makes sense why. And women will try to combat this. They will try to say, "Oh, this is not the case," but we clearly see it. We clearly see it. And it's an issue. So, this is why I would say, listen, it's not good to go out and think that it's okay to promote these single mother-led broken homes when you're raising any child, because it's not overarchingly conducive to healthy, stable-minded young people. You need both parents. It takes two to make them, it takes two to raise them. That's all. That's how I see it. See, Irving, thank you once again for the super chat. It says, you're definitely describing one of my good friends. I had to speak with him about this years ago, since these young boys grow up into son husbands, right? What we see all the time, a lot of these women create the men that they complain about. You're creating the men that you complain about. Thank you, C. Irvin. Once again, I appreciate you. You create the men that you complain about. You don't like, y'all call them sassy and all that, but y'all are creating these sassy individuals. Y'all are creating these men who act like you. We said it before. They talk like you, and they move their head and point their finger, and I watch these little children do that, talk like the mothers. You act and you talk like the mama, because that's your influence. That's what you've been around. But then y'all get old and y'all like, why are all these men sass? Because y'all raised them. It's a generation of women who raised these young men. Why these men act like women? What? Because y'all raised them to act like women. You don't realize the effects that you're having on the children that you're bringing here. And then the fact that you can go around and act like it's a win-win situation to become single mothers, and you don't need a man. Once again, I said this before, y'all are not thinking about the children. You're not thinking about their future and how this is going to affect them. All y'all talking about getting to the bag, getting to the D, and you having children, you're creating lives in the midst of this, and you don't care how they're going to turn out. You don't think this is going to affect them in a negative way by you just making babies willy-nilly, no priorities, no standards, no nothing. You don't require a man to be there and be there for the children to raise. Like, that's insane. It's insane. What's going on, Smitty? How you been, Smitty? Good to see you. So I just wanted to put that out there, because we see so much of this. And once again, I always say, listen, we need to start at least, trying to get, telling people, hey, it's not okay to create these broken homes, because the children are the ones that are going to suffer. A lot of these children are the ones that turns into criminals. They're the ones who end up, not they move like a woman emotionally. You move in an emotional way and you react in that way. They don't know, they're not raised to be men, because their mothers are raising them, and that's a problem. And once again, if women can complain about men being sassy, y'all got to look around who raised, because this sassy term has not been around that long. So it's when it's in this generation, this hasn't, we haven't been hearing sassy that long. So it's y'all, it's these single women, single mother-led households who are raising these sassy men, and then y'all turn around and say, oh my God, how they get sassy? Because y'all raised them. It's like y'all are delusional. You act like you don't know why the men are moving the way they're moving. You act like you're oblivious to every goddamn thing. You don't see nothing. You don't see your part at all. Come on now. No. Well, the men walked away, so that's why. No, you're raising them. You're raising them. So what are you doing to raise them to not be sassy? So it's just something that women have to look at. Y'all have to be cognizant of this and stop pushing the blame. Even if you do say, oh, if you did say the men walked away, they don't have nothing to do with the kid. Okay, so what are you doing? Which I don't believe that all the men walked away. See, that's another thing. I don't believe all the men walked away. I think y'all just was out here getting to the D, hot in the pants. That's what you wanted. You didn't prioritize a husband. You didn't prioritize marriage or none of that. You didn't make babies with responsible men. And you weren't responsible as well, because you didn't require that before. You didn't require marriage and a commitment and responsible men before sex. You just wanted sex. And you went out and you did that. And you created a child And then you just blamed it on the men. Oh, they just walked away. No, y'all were never together. Y'all were never together. This was never a relationship. Y'all weren't married. So you have to take some accountability as well. I'm not saying it's all on him, but I think it's your body, your choice, right? So with your body and your choice, you made the choice to sleep with somebody you know was not responsible, and you didn't make sure that you had the proper protection. You wasn't on a pill. I mean, hell, there's the morning after. You could have got one of those and made sure you ain't making a baby with these people, but y'all gonna make babies thinking that somehow you can change these men, and then when they don't switch up, now you stuck, and now you mad and you complaining. But it's a cycle that's repeating itself because they're not learning. You're not learning from your mistakes. So I just think that's something that everybody needs to learn from. You don't just create these children and then and then fast forward, you complain about the same children you're creating. You're complaining, oh, they this and they that, but you take no type of accountability. You don't learn from your mistakes to say, damn, I messed up. Yeah, you know what? I've contributed to this. No accountability at all. Not even acknowledging that you've contributed in some way, even though, and it's your body, your choice. You could have, you know what I'm saying? You had choices, you had options, but you didn't want to take them. But then you complaining. It doesn't make any sense. What's going on, Christopher? How are you? So, it's just something to think about. Let's move on. This clip has been all over social media as well. I want to get your thoughts on this one. Here we go. Make sure you hit the like button, y'all. We got 91 watching, 74 likes. Hit the like button. Here we go.
Wait, start over because they were walking.
Don't have to worry about that. We're starting from down there.
Oh, we're starting from down there.
Yeah.
And walking towards her?
Walk past. It's natural.
No, we were side by side.
Yeah,
calm down. All I said was she was side by side. We were side by side.
I said I'm not worried about people walking.
Okay, I am. I don't want to walk side by side with somebody.
Babe, you're on vacation. It's not going to be an empty beach.
Why can't you just say okay, babe?
Oh, no. You were doing that yesterday. You get mad at the people walking
I
in your
was
view.
not getting mad. You just want to keep going instead of just saying okay, babe.
I'm never going to say okay, babe.
I know. It's one of your problems. Just say okay.
No, it's not one of my problems. That's why we're still together, because you think you just want to rule shit.
What am I ruling?
Bro, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all do it. Never in my life have I had that much patience with a woman. I have that much patience with my daughters. I don't even have that much patience with my son. Motherfucker tell you real quick, oh, John's son is very well behaved. No one has ever had a problem out of Jonathan's son. Now my daughter's a different story. I have a world of patience for my daughters. Anyone else in the world, I don't. How much can you love somebody? Man, I love my wife. She can't talk to me like that. That is a normal occurrence in that man's life. He's so calm. Oh my God, it's like dealing with a fucking little girl. Nobody ever checked her. Shit, you know what, man? I get to a point with my daughters, I'd be like, hey, shut up. You talking back too much. I giving you chance after chance after chance. Shut your mouth. Nobody ever gave that woman that. First off, you talking all loud in front of the people walking on the public beach. Your husband really trying to pull that back. Like, baby, it's okay. So we gonna start down there. Nah, because she walking right next to me. Oh, man. And you talking to him crazy. You don't have no respect for nobody. Nobody. Oh, my God. I just don't know how y'all do it, dog.
So listen, y'all saw that. What do you think about her? Do y'all think that she was disrespectful? They were saying she was disrespectful. Yeah. Do y'all think she was disrespectful? And is this something that you've dealt with in the past, or would you deal with a woman speaking to you in that way? Because in those comments, some people were saying, I saw some people saying that this is a normal occurrence, that this is just how couples talk to each other. Do you normalize that type of communication in a relationship? Do y'all think that is normal, or do you see that as a problem? Because it sounds like yeah, she's used to getting her way for sure, and she seems to have an attitude all the time. It's just an attitude that he's used to. You could tell he's used to it because he kind of checked her in a sense. But you could tell that that's a normal occurrence. She wants her way, and he's just supposed to go with it. But seems like he has some pushback. But that just seems to be, people just chalk it up to, this is what relationships look, and a lot of relationships do look like that. They really do. So yeah, most of y'all saying severely disrespectful. Yes, very disrespectful, mad disrespectful. No, I would have to check her. Right. Nah, that's not normal. Stop it. As a former police officer, this is common. Right. That's what I'm saying, Arnold. This is what happens when, where's the rest? That's what I meant. Like, this is how a lot of people talk to each other. Now, they have normalized it, and when you see this type of, rhetoric between a couple on social media, then people look and say, well, damn, like, that's what he got to deal with on a daily basis. Like, yeah, that's what he signed up for. Then it seems like, then people realize, oh my God, this is not normal behavior. This is, disrespectful. But when you in it, it becomes your normal. It becomes the normal way that you speak to each other, even if it's toxic. Because once, a lot of times if you with a woman or a man, whoever, and that person is talking to you crazy, sometimes people just forget that it's hella disrespectful because they so used to, you become used to the toxic nature. Somebody calling you bees and hoes all the time. If a man calling you, a lot of times women, because growing up in New Orleans and where I come from, that they use that regularly. Like, that was the norm. Like, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people talk like that. Oh, B, they just talk like that. And they talk like that with everybody. It's like a normal thing, but it's normalized. And people just accept that behavior because they think that it's normal. When in actuality, it's not. It's really not, but they normalize it because they're so used to it. Oh, I guess you don't mean no harm by it. That's just how you talk. And look, my husband worked with a couple of guys. They just call people bitches all the time, and some people get offended by it. And then once they hang around, once they work with him long enough, they realize, oh, this is how you talk, and then they end up accepting it. Like, oh, that's just how he is. If he just calling one back. Like, they don't end up taking offense to it. They just accept that that's how he talks, and they accept that, and they keep it moving. So that's why I say it becomes normalized. People, as opposed to saying, nah, you know what? I'm not going to accept that. That's disrespectful. And I would appreciate it if you don't call me that. I don't give a damn who else you call it to. Don't talk to me in that way. Instead of saying, hey, this is unacceptable when it comes to me. I don't accept that. And making some, putting your foot down, making some ground rules, and you having standards saying, nah, I don't care. You could say you call everybody else a bitch, but it ain't me. You know what I mean? So more than not, from what we've seen, a lot of people just adapt to it and they say, okay, you don't mean no harm. We just gonna accept it. And I think when it comes to people in relationships, sometimes it just become the norm. It should become your norm, even though it is toxic, and it's just you just make it a part of who they are, and you just accept it, and that's it. And that's how it could get out of hand, in my opinion. See, Irving, people only do what you allow. Gotta set boundaries. I agree. But unfortunately, see, Irving, a lot of people don't. A lot of people do not. And that's why I say this behavior becomes acceptable, because I said this before, women, especially when it comes to women will only do what you allow. If they see they can cross certain lines with you and you don't say nothing, what you think they're gonna keep doing it. And in this example, thank you, C. Irvin, I appreciate you. Once you allow that and you don't check it right away, what you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna say, oh, you know what? You think most women gonna say, oh, you know what? I crossed the line. I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. Most women won't do that. Most women won't. And so what happens is they see an opportunity to just go further. And then they start testing you even more to see how far they could go. That's just how a lot of women are. And if they see that they can say and do anything to you, and you just gonna be accepting of it, well, now you a walkover. You're a doormat. Now they could just talk to you crazy, cuss you out, disrespect you, then ask for all your money and demand it from you, and you just gonna sit here and do it. Well, then that's what simp behavior is. A man who just will allow a woman to do anything, demand anything from you, and you just give it to her because you like her so much, and she could just talk to you and disrespect you and say anything to you, then that's a problem. But that's why I say if somebody crossed the line with you, you have to nip that in the bud right away. You got to let her know, oh, hell no, I don't roll like that. No, I will not. This is not what I would tolerate. You would not talk to me this way. You got to let them know. Because when you let a woman know, a lot of times, that they're not used to that. They're not used to men who set them straight up front. They used to just saying what they want and men just accepting it, especially if she's an attractive woman. But when you say, if you don't care how attractive she is and you're not moved by that, and you like, hold on, wait a minute, and let me let you get something straight. Her eyes open big, like, oh, okay, all right, he let me know. And then a lot of times women respect it, believe it or not. This is the difference between how women treat what y'all would call a simp man versus a man who has standards. A lot of times when she know, oh, she can't say certain stuff with him, either she gonna back away or she gonna know, hey, I can't disrespect him, and you gotta respect him or else. Yeah, it just depends. Women are very interesting, I would say. They're, like I said, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. But a lot of times women don't like correction. They don't like a person who has standards. But even if they don't like it, they will respect you when you demand it. When you demand respect, or or don't deal with them, they're gonna either respect it or they're gonna keep it moving. But they're not gonna sit there and just disrespect you. No, because they know they can't do it. Like this lady said one time, she was like, women always talking about abusive men until they really get in a situation with a real abusive man, because he ain't talking, and I don't condone abuse, but yeah, he ain't talking. When he feel like he gonna knock your head between the washer and dryer, and your head just gonna be knocked through between the washer and the dryer. That's just it. And he ain't gonna feel nothing about it. And you can feel how you want. He don't give a damn if he's that type of person. That lady said most women have never really come in contact with a real abuser, because like he ain't gonna think twice. When he feel like knocking your head in between the washer and the dryer, he just gonna do that. So I don't know what's going on. Hannibal, how are you? So listen, yeah, I thought that was interesting because a lot of people caught it. A lot of people were like, yeah, she's mad disrespectful, but that's his wife. He ain't just met her yesterday, so he knows exactly how disrespectful she is. But once again, he's with her. You can't change her. She ain't trying to change. That's just how she talks to him. She seems like has a selfish nature, and she's want to get with her way, and she talks to him like that, and they probably talk to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it become normalized, especially when you're in a relationship with a person, and y'all just putting up with it. Y'all just putting up with it. And I do think it can become very toxic. It could definitely become toxic in nature. And like I say, people just get used to it. Somebody just cuss you out all the time. You just, oh, well, that's just how they are. Or it's just, you just normalize it. And I don't think that that's a good thing, because eventually it goes too far, in my opinion. Listen, what I'm gonna do, y'all, I have 2 more clips I want to play for y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead, because I'm not gonna keep y'all too long today. But I did promise to put the link to the panel if you guys want to give your thoughts. I'll do that, but I want to do it differently. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link now, and that way, if anybody want to come up and give their 2 cents, you can, since I promised. If you do, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But I'll put the link, and I have 2 more clips that I want to play, and we'll just go through it, and y'all can give me your thoughts on it, and that way we can wrap this up, y'all. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. So I'm gonna put the link if anybody want to give their 2 cents on any topic or anything. You can definitely do that. But we're gonna go through the clips that I have here. I have 2 more clips I want to share with y'all. And if you want to pop up, you can. And then we're gonna wrap it up. All right. Make sure you are hitting the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. It is free to like. Why every time? Here we go. Every time I try to, there it is. So let's move on. Now, this clip was interesting, y'all. You know how you hear women talking about the bear, right? They chose the bear, right? They chose the bear. I thought this was interesting, and this is unfortunate that this woman lost her life, y'all. She lost her life. This woman was mauled to death by her own pit bull on her birthday, ripping off her arm in 20-minute struggle. Now, I don't know too much about dogs. I don't have a dog, but are the pit bulls the ones who have that the mouth that could grip you like that? Like, aren't there certain dogs who have something about the way their mouth is structured that they can, do this type of damage? Or is this because I remember hearing somebody saying something like that? Or is this just a mechanism for all dogs? I thought I heard somebody say that certain dogs, and I don't know if it's a pit bull or not, that could like grip you and, like rip you up, because that's what happened in this case. But let me go ahead and we're going to play it because this was crazy, y'all.
The family of a woman who died after being attacked by a pit bull is sharing that is details about the attack and what they want to see happen to the dog.
News 4 San Antonio's Karina Hollingsworth joins us now after speaking with them at a balloon release tonight.
Simone Like died on Sunday on what would have been her 32nd birthday after she was bit by a pit bull inside her apartment on the north side. And tonight her family is remembering her with a balloon release at Smitty's Pub as they await to hear what will happen to the pit bull.
It broke my heart to know that she had been mauled for 23 minutes and nobody came. Nobody came around.
In the complex.
Nobody in the complex. Nobody that was there. They just left her.
Simone Like's family says she had a friend over on the night of the attack at the Lennox Apartments when a pit bull attacked her, ripping off her arm. The details are graphic.
He got a hold of the arm and then he kept going and then he went down the side of the body. So he ended up puncturing
her whole stomach.
All of this side. So he got the heart, he got the lungs. He mauled
killed the liver and the kidneys.
So all was on that side.
None of her insides were normal.
Animal Care Services told us the owner was cited but did not say who owns the dog. We also reached out to the San Antonio Police Department to ask if anyone will be facing charges and did not hear back. Simone's family says she was not the dog's only victim.
The same dog has attacked multiple people.
And if I gotta get you guys one by one, please go to the animal shelter and report this. We have to put the dog down. Yes. We have to do what's right for Simone and for the people that need justice.
Animal Care Services says this is still an active investigation and the dog is currently still in quarantine. They did not say whether or not the dog will be put down. Reporting for News 4 San Antonio, I'm Karina Hollingsworth.
Well, they're saying it was her dog. I wonder if that's true. They said it was her dog. Baby, and the reason why I pulled that up is because it brings me back to the whole bear talk. Now, if a damn dog could do this to you, what you think the bear would do? That's why I brought it up, because I'm like, y'all got to be insane to think that a bear couldn't do much worse. Like, if a dog killed this lady, and rest in peace to her, that's unfortunate that lady lost her life. But if a dog could do that to you, what you think the bear would do? For the foolish people who talking about, oh, I choose the bear. I'll be more comfortable in the woods with a goddamn bear. You can't even be comfortable in the woods with a dog. So what about go ahead, Trey. What's going on? How you doing, Trey?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. What you think about that, child?
I work with dogs in the Air Force. I was a canine handler for 6 years, and people forget that these are
animals.
They're animals. Like even domestic, and they have what's called it's called a prey drive, PREY, prey drive. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they tell you when you're around these animals, don't run, because you activate that in them. It's innate in them. Right? It's like a shark that just was born learning how to swim. Right? It's what they do. Listen, you know how silly you got to be to think you're going to make it with a bear?
Right.
And like there's grown men who hunt bear. This is what they do. They hunt bear, mm-hmm. and they keep their distance. They are up in tree stands. They are, yards and yards away using a 30-06, rifle to take these. Like, they keep their distance, but we have women that are saying, oh no, I can go out there with one. It just goes to show you how silly and how conditioned our women have become to say hateful things towards men, even though we know that you wouldn't make it 10 minutes. Right. You wouldn't make it 10 minutes with a bear. And here's the thing. Bears don't do what other animals do. Like lions, when they hunt, they suffocate. Cheetahs, when they hunt, they suffocate. And then they feast. They make sure you're dead first. Then they feast. Okay. Bears don't do that. If you ever watch a bear eat a fish, they skin the fish alive.
Ooh.
The thing is alive.
Oh, so they would skin a human alive and just eat you.
They're not gonna wait for you to die.
Right. Ooh, yeah.
They're gonna eat you while you're breathing. Just like this dog ate her while she was breathing. You gotta understand, her heart was probably still pumping while this dog was eating her. The blood is still running through her body while this dog is still eating her.
So she probably felt everything.
She felt all of it. And obviously you get to a point where the adrenaline takes over, so she probably doesn't feel the pain at some point. But early in that, when he first bit her, as he worked his way, and it's called typewriting. So a dog can start up here and they'll typewrite you all the way down your arm. They'll just typewrite you all over your body. And so they'll bite and let go, bite and let go, bite and let go. And they'll just type. So when we were teaching dogs to bite, one of the number one things to whether or not we could actually certify a dog is they had to bite you and hold. They had to hold. They couldn't typewrite you up and down. They had to bite you and hold just as one position. And we would fail dogs that typewrite all this. But natural dogs that's in the wild, they don't have to do all that. They do whatever they want. They bite you wherever they want to. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why she said it. She got bit on her arm first, but then what did she say? She said they started to get all in this. And you also got to understand, there's a taste of blood. Her voice is higher, right? Dogs react to high-pitched voices. High-pitched voices to dogs sound more fun and exciting. That's why whenever I had somebody trying to train a dog, I always tell them to lower their voice. When you give commands, lower your voice. Don't sound happy and excited. That's for praise. But you got to remember, she's probably screaming and she's freaking out, right? She smells different because of her endorphins, and her adrenaline is running because she's scared. There's all kinds of things that's going on here. You know what I mean? And this is really, really bad situation. I'm glad they cleared it up because I thought this was her dog. Come to find out, it's somebody else's dog, which makes it even worse, right? And if that is the case, if it is somebody else's dog, that person needs to be charged with murder.
Yeah, of course. But why she had the dog what's the dog at her house? I thought they said it was her dog at her house. I don't know. That's sad. I'm scared of dogs. I was chased by a dog when I was.
But you can rock with a bear though.
Baby,
another part of this is too, DeeDee, I don't think people realize how big bears are.
I do.
Right. So I was stationed in Alaska. Alaska was my first duty station. I don't know if I told you the story before, but I was sitting in the parking lot of the commissary. The commissary BX is typically connected. So I was sitting in the BX in the commissary, and I just started seeing a whole bunch. I'm typing up a report. See a whole bunch of people running out, like uniforms, civilian people. They running out of the commissary, what the hell going on here, right? And somebody started knocking on my door, banging on the door, because obviously I'm in a police cruiser, right? They're like, "Yo, it's a bear in there. There's like bears in there." I'm like, "In the commissary?" They're like, "Yeah, they just walked in." So a mother bear and her two cubs just walked into the commissary. Remember, this is Alaska. Just walked into the commissary like it was nothing. And people don't realize, and when I got to the front door, I'm like, these things are a lot bigger than you think they are. When you get right up on them, and black bears are the smaller version compared to the brown bear, Kodiak bear, and the polar bear is even bigger. So people don't realize how big, how strong they are, how agile they are, right? How quick they are. People think, oh, no, you think it's cute and cuddly until you get right up on one, and next thing you know, he's ripping your skin off.
Right. I heard this 911 call of this lady who had been mauled by a bear. She was hiding. He had to messed her up. She was like, "I'm dying." And she was hiding in the woods by a tree, and she called 911. And it was like, "Ma'am, where are you?" This lady was about to die. She survived, but she was all mangled. And I'm like, why? Like, so I think they really just be trolling when they say they would go with the bear. I don't think they really mean it. You think they're serious?
No, I don't think they're serious, but I also don't think they're informed either. I think that they think that these bears are cute and cuddly, like this is Smokey the Bear.
That just makes me real stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that they're informed and realize how bears can climb trees, bears can climb fences. Go look at some of these videos of people in their backyard and the bear just let themselves in. The bears can open doors. Like, people go watch these videos and watch these bears that just be letting themselves in. Like, they're not as stupid as you think they are. They're highly intelligent, right? They have great sense of smell. They got claws this big that on their paws. Like I think a lot of it is they are ignorant to the facts. And for us men, we have to understand survival better, right? We have to understand being around certain animals. I don't like snakes. I don't like bears. I can work with dogs if I'm around them enough, but I know what to look for just because I trained with them. I know what to look for, but I don't have a dog in my house. I would never have a dog in my house, ever. You know what I mean? Like, we think differently. So when you hear a woman say, "Oh, I go out into the forest," and or I go out into the woods with a bear, no, you're just uninformed. Like, you just don't understand how these things actually operate. And we're talking about 400 pounds, 500 pounds. The Kodiaks get up to 1,000, polar bears up to 1,000 pounds. I mean, these are huge animals, and they got a bad attitude. This ain't Winnie the Pooh.
Right. I don't know, Chad. I don't know how some of us could realize that, and some just don't see it that way. It makes women look real foolish, in my opinion, to think that you can outsmart a bear. Like, a bear won't rip you to shreds. I mean, Jesus Lord. I don't have to see a big bear in person to know that they're big and that they can rip me apart. I just don't even want to take that chance. I don't get it. Daryl, what's going on? How are you?
How you doing, Miss DeeDee? How you doing, Mr. Trey?
What's going on, sir? How are you? How's Argentina treating you?
Oh man. Other than it's cold, I'm doing good. I can't complain. No complaints here. No bears.
What's your thoughts on did you see the video clip? What's your anything we've already discussed? What's your thoughts?
Well, Trey more or less covered everything about it, but I saw this video where a family was going through a safari drive, and the woman got out because she wanted to get a closer look at the tiger.
Yeah.
And she got the closest look that she can get. The tiger came and grabbed her. Her husband with her. There's nothing he can do. There was nothing he can do. She was dead instantly. The tiger killed her instantly. So I'm like, okay, women that chooses the bear, all right. But there's one thing I noticed about the video was the people they was talking to all of a sudden started blaming the people that didn't respond.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, you want to blame the people that had the sense enough to stay away from the dog? Is that what we're doing? You want to blame the people that had sense enough to stay away from the pit bull? Ain't nothing wrong with calling 911 60 meters away.
Right.
Period. Somebody called 911. It definitely wasn't her. It wasn't the victim. Somebody called 911 about that dog. And then she said, well, the dog bit other people. Okay, the dog bit other people. Did you report it? Why is the dog still running free? Because you never said, well, the dog bit other people and I reported the dog. None of them said that. But now they want to blame the people for not responding. How you know they didn't respond? They probably did, but they did it at a safe distance.
Right.
And I would Trey, I don't want to deal with those snakes. I ain't trying to do that. No, I'm not trying to do that. But it goes to I had another perspective. It goes to chivalry. This is why chivalry is dead. The women want men to risk their lives when they do stuff that put themselves in danger, which they don't have to.
Yeah.
And I thought they said the dog was hers, but then the internet said it was running free. Okay, so the dog had to get close enough to you for the dog to do what it had to do. And then you expect a Samaritan to come out of nowhere, risk their life and everything to save you because you didn't do what you should have done, was keep your distance. No. And that's my spill on it. It's tragic. What happened to her is definitely tragic. But if I was at that complex and I saw what was going on, I would be in my house with my family. Y'all stay here. I'm calling 911. And that's it. I may break out the phone to record what's going on, but other than that, no. I'm not gonna run in like Superman and try to save the day. No. Not happening.
You know what's funny? We have this thought process, and women will tell you, they're independent and they don't need us, and we're not necessary until the shit hits the proverbial fan. Until situations like this happen, and then it's somebody do something. And somebody do something is code for we're the men. that's essentially what they're saying. Somebody go get a man to fix this problem, right? Yeah. Somebody do something. And again, you can't have it. You can't win at both ends. Shout out to Media Man. You can't win at both ends. You can't have it your way, right? If you're saying that you don't need us, that means you don't need us. That means that when you're being attacked by whatever it is that you're being attacked from, by deal with it, right? Because your man would protect you. You see, your man would take that L for you. Your man would let that dog bite him rather than bite you, because that's what we're built to do, right? Your man, to be quite honest, probably would have killed that dog. Let's just be honest, right? If he'd had an opportunity to get that throat and suffocate that dog, he probably, if he could get to it. I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying if he could get to it, right? He probably puts that dog down, right, to protect you. And here's the other part of it: your man ain't gonna think twice about it. See, we don't have an opportunity to weigh out the pros and cons. We just need to snap into action, right? We have to be vigilant all the time, right? We don't get to sit with our back to the door and not notice who's walking into rooms and walking into buildings. We don't get to go into buildings and not notice where the exits are. How are we going to get out of here if a fire starts? How are we going to do this? We just have to be. And so if you had a man, your man would have taken care of that for you. Your man would have made sure, or he would have avenged you. Because if you came to me and told me that my girl got murdered by a dog, that boy better be on the run. Because when I find you, you're gonna wish the police found you before I get to you. Because I'm gonna make you feel everything that she felt. That's how I look at it. I'm gonna make you feel what she felt. But you keep saying you don't need us. You keep saying we're not important. You keep saying that you can do this on your own. You keep saying I'd rather have the bear. Okay, let's see if the bear come and avenge you. Let's see if the bear jump in front of it for you, which probably won't. So this entire thing, again, when it hits the fan, when it's life or death, they start looking around for men. Somebody do something. And I'm not surprised that the 4 women stood up there on that camera, like Daryl said, and started to blame everybody else. Why y'all ain't do nothing? Why y'all ain't do nothing? Well, y'all have lived in a world where y'all said y'all don't want us to do anything. Why are we looking at you? Why are we talking to you? Why are we holding doors open for you? Why are we being generous to you? Why are we being chivalrous to you? Why are we telling you, hey, you look beautiful today? Hey, man, your hair looks nice today. Oh, you ain't got it. I don't need all that. You got a compliment. Okay, well, fine. And this is what you get. You get a culture of men who just do like this now. And how is that beneficial to anybody, let alone women? You need men to be able to want to step in. You need guys like me. You need guys like Daryl that were in the military who said, nah, I'll sacrifice myself. It's cool. I got it. When you had World War II, you had boys that was lying about their age. They were lying. They were telling the government, I am 18, when in actuality they was 16 or 17, just so they can go over there and get them something. See, when you don't have a culture of men like that anymore, this is what you get. Because I guarantee if this is the 60s, somebody would have went out there with a pistol. If this was the 60s, 70s, somebody would have went out there with a pistol. And she might have lost her arm, but she'd be alive. Right. She might have lost her arm, but she'd be alive. Mm-hmm. Somebody would have went out with a pistol and would have put some bullets in that daggone dog. But you ain't getting that anymore. Because you keep saying you don't need it.
In my day, it was a shotgun. Been a dog barrel shotgun.
Right.
But they wouldn't have to worry about it though. They wouldn't have to worry about it back then. They wouldn't have to worry about it because a man automatically comes out with the weapon to neutralize the threat. See, most men know how to neutralize a threat and got no problem. Like Trey said, no problem. Instantaneously neutralize a threat. But guess what? Like you said, you women said, y'all prefer the bear. Deuces, okay. Enjoy the bear.
I know. They prefer the bear. I know better. I ain't got time. No.
You say don't put me in. Don't put me in that.
No.
I'm sorry. Most women.
Yeah.
Most women. Most modern women. Most modern women.
put me in the woods with a man. I don't need the bear. I know that. Look, I can survive the man. That bear, I know I'm not gonna survive that. I'll have the chance with
you got a better chance with a man.
Right. He might be crazy, but hell, I would take that chance over the bear. Straight up.
You can kick him in the balls and run away.
I know.
You ain't kicking no bear in the balls and running away.
He's human like you. Like that bear is something else, way stronger. Like I'm not gonna risk that. That's don't make no sense.
DeeDee, bears are apex predators. They swim, they climb, they track, they hunt. They're apex predators. This ain't just some random little. They are apex predators. There's nothing they can't do. They walk on two legs. They walk on two legs. There's nothing they can't do.
Say less. You don't gotta say no more to me. I just don't understand. When I see, y'all should see my face when I'm watching these videos of these women saying, "Oh, the bear. Oh, absolutely the bear." I'd be like, something wrong with y'all. Y'all mentally disturbed. Like, there's no way. That's why I'm saying either I'm gonna believe them or they trolling. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But one thing you said, Trey, that I agree with also too is like when if me and my husband go somewhere, a lot of times I'm not, I'm free. I feel like I don't have to worry about anything, to be honest with you. I'm not checking the exits and all of that stuff. That I feel comfortable in knowing that I know he'll protect me no matter what is going to happen. So I do think a lot of women move like that, but they don't really have that protection. They just think that the world is supposed to be their protection, Yeah, we don't think we do have the luxury as women to just kind of go and not think about that kind of stuff. And that's why I say too, men, from what I experienced, they think of more, they have to be more aware of certain things that we don't probably have to, but even still though, like if I go somewhere by myself, which is rare, I don't really go too many places by myself, to be honest with you. I'm mostly at home. I say that all the time. I'll go some places, but I'm aware then. When I go somewhere by myself, I know I got to protect myself. My husband and I with me, sometimes I feel uncomfortable, but y'all, I think I've been coddled in that way, for so long. Like it's a different type of world over here. Like I don't really be going nowhere by myself because people are crazy. I know people be getting jacked up, people be getting kidnapped and stuff like that. I be thinking, I watch too much of the crazy stuff. So I be like, nah, if I'm gonna go out, I gotta be protected.
Well, you're also at your most vulnerable when you're out by yourself. I used to say this a lot of the times because I worked a lot of club scenes, and when I was on duty, I worked clubs at night. And I used to say this a lot, that a lot of times women don't even realize that they're actually are being protected with just the presence of a man. Just him being there sometimes can thwart a guy wanting to do something to you or wanting to come up to you because he knows he's going to have to deal with that man, especially if he's a larger man. If your husband or your boyfriend 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", just his mere presence, just him standing around will make guys think twice about doing certain things. And so they'll start to go look for the women who are alone and by themselves. All those robberies, all those carjackings we used to work, it was typically when a woman was burglaries, she was by herself. Right. She was always by herself. And I remember in particular one carjacking we worked where the guy tried to carjack it, didn't know the lady's husband was in the car behind him.
Oh, okay.
And he saw what was going on. He hops out the car and he beat the life out of this boy. This boy was 17 trying to carjack. And when I got there, I just remember looking at his face going, ooh. Like he beat the life out of that boy for trying to carjack his wife. Sometimes it's just the mere presence of a man that can make things just go differently. And that's why when I hear the women say, well, I don't need you, I'm like, lies. Lies. Just me standing here makes you safer. Just me standing here, just me and you walking down the street and you holding my hand makes you safer. So you mean you don't need me? Of course you need me. Of course. And granted, the crime across the country overall within the last 20 years, it is down, right? Overall crime is down, right? Not in certain hotspots, not in your Chicagos or your Detroits or your Baltimores or your DCs or your, in certain places, the crime really is just kind of fluctuated. It's still crime there. So if you live in those certain places, you mean to tell me you don't need a man? Of course you need a man for protection at minimum. At minimum, you need a man for protection. And I see a lot of women who have husbands, they do think like you, DeeDee. You want to know why? Because they know their husband got it. I can't tell you how many dates I've been on where I've had to tell the woman, hey, switch seats with me. And she doesn't understand why. Hey, because in my mind, a feminine woman knows she's supposed to sit with her back to the door. A feminine woman knows that. She knows that. Wives know that. I watch wives all the time. All my friends are married. Their wives always sit with their back to the door because they already know. They already know this is where I'm supposed to sit. But when I go out on dates with 20-year-old women, 30-year-old women who have never been taught these things, they never, I have to tell them, hey, switch seats with me. And I've had women ask me, why do we need to switch seats? Because I need to be able to see the door. I need to be able to see what's happening, just in case some BS pops off and we need to get up out of here. And I remember my son, I ask him all the time when we go out, where the X is at. Now to the point where my son has started to look for it. Because you, as a man, you got to know to be able to, how do you gonna get out of here? Movie theaters, restaurants. You never, in today's day and age, did we not just have some crazy fool shoot up a school and kill 2 kids?
That's crazy.
You never know when it's gonna happen. Aurora, Colorado, they was at a movie theater. Buffalo, they was where was that? At a shopping center? It was a shopping center? There's a church. Sandy Hook was at a school. Like, you never know when these fools are gonna go crazy. And so you need to be prepared. And most men, if they are vigilant like that, they notice, hey, this is how, if something pop off, this is how we get out of here. They may not actually say it, but they have thought about it. They've been looking around and saying, hey, nah, some shit pop off, this is how we get up out of here. Gotta have that vigilance and that situational awareness.
Now, what about the men? Like, I've seen this too. What about the men who they don't move like that? Like, I've saw a situation where a dude walked up to the woman and did something disrespectful to her, and the man just stood there. What do they do? what you do?
A lot of that is a problem, because if I had to take a venture and guess, I would say he's probably raised by a single mother, right? Because men who are raised by dads or had uncles or big brothers and cousins and stuff, they just don't stand around. It's not in them. They weren't taught. They weren't conditioned like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They have to intervene. I see a lot of guys all the time like, you just had to get in there, didn't you? It's like, hey man, where I come from, this is how we do. This is what we do. It's just like they can't help themselves because that's the way they were taught. Whereas I'm raised by a single mother, but like, she'll be all right. She'll be fine. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but she'll be all right. You know what I mean? I don't feel that.
They're just scared. They like, they don't know how to fight or whatever.
Oh, I'm that dude that don't know how to fight. And I was put in a position, this happened to me, I was out here, I don't know, I was on a bus, it was after 1 a.m. The woman got on the bus, the bus is practically empty, half empty, and she sat directly next to me. And I could tell she was scared. She sat right directly next to me. And I'm looking, I'm like, all these seats over here, and you sit right next to me? And I said, I know what she's doing. Something pop off. She had them thinking, oh, I'm with this big black guy over here with the afro. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight for you. You know that, right? It's not gonna go down like that. But I'm not one to intervene. If I see a woman in trouble, I'll just get on my phone. I'm not gonna put my hand in it. I'm not gonna unless she's with me. If she with me, then she gets Bruce Lee, pretty much.
That's what I meant. Like, yeah, like you're a woman.
If she with me, she gets Bruce Lee.
Okay.
But if she ain't with me, and she getting a purse snatch or whatever, I'll call 911, look up a street sign, and tell them where they're at. Or she's over here. 2 men took her, and that's it. I'm not taking a knife or a gun for nobody. Nope.
But you know how rare that is, though. Ask the men, even in the men in the chat, how rare is it that when you went out with a woman that you got into an altercation with another man, like a serious altercation, like a legit, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course it can happen, right? People drinking, people getting high, of course it can happen. But how honestly, as many times as I've been out with a woman, I've never had a legit altercation like happen with another man. It's never actually happened. And yeah, are there disagreements? Sure. Have we bumped into each other. Yeah, sure. That type of stuff has happened. But an actual like argument that like where guns is coming out and knives are coming out, or like she getting jacked, it almost never happens. And it has a lot to do with the fact of there's a man there, right? Now, ask yourself a group of women. If you go out in a group of women, 2 or 3, how often do they deal with harassment and guys want to bother them and want to talk to them, grab them? When I was growing up, the guys would just grab you. They just grab you and just take you wherever they want, whatever they want. They want you to dance with you, just come up and grab you. Like, they don't do that so much now, but when I was growing up in the early 2000s, that's what they did. So how often does it happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how often are you out with a woman that it actually is going to come down to where now you gotta square it with a dude, and it almost never happens.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, and I guess you're right, because when you out with your man, it don't even be a thing. It's really not. It's because I've never experienced it. So
Miss D, you never had anybody follow you or harass you while you was with your husband?
Hell no. Hell no. I remember years ago, we was living in these apartments, and the neighbor downstairs, I remember I was coming from the car, but my husband was coming behind me, and I don't know, I think I had on some shorts. They were regular shorts, and he was standing down looking. My husband came back after we went up the steps with us. He came. He's like, you like what you're looking at? My husband is different. He like, you like what you're looking at? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and the man was like, nah, because we had a couple of the kids with us coming up the stairs, and he was like, nah, I was admiring the kids. He was like, all right. And then he told him some other shit, and I don't know what he told him, but that dude was back and back. And I'm like, why did you do that? And then I liked it. It was like, oh, okay. That kind of stuff is like, that's good to me. I like that. But I'm just like, nah.
Not you getting hot in the pants when you out with the kids. She did.
Turn on. I'm telling you, I never forget. That's how he moved, though. I love it. But the dude was looking at me going the steps, and this man is crazy, I'm telling you, and I love it about him. He is not no punk at all. He coming to you. Like, it's scary, but that's part of what I like about him. Like, shit, I know one thing, he gonna fight when necessary. He may not always win, but he gonna fight.
That's how the next child came into play, right there. The next child came into play.
Seriously, like, nah, but that's a turn on. Like, nobody, so that's why I'm like, when I hear women talking about I don't need a man, and y'all crazy as hell. Maybe y'all ain't met the right man or something. I don't know. It's a turn on for men to be, I don't want you to be crazy, like just they don't start stuff, but you ready if it presents itself. But once again, to Trey's point, nah, we never had those issues. I don't know. And my husband is not the nicest. He nice. I'll say this because he ain't gonna want to be called nice. He's a good dude, but he's about his business. He's a man. Y'all know y'all are men. He cool. He get along with other men and stuff like that, but he don't play around. And it's like, he don't always look the nicest sometimes. Like, he has a look about him where people kind of look. Right, but at the same time, he's approachable too. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm just saying, like, I just know, I don't understand this. I don't need a man and all that kind of stuff. It's just foolish to me. Because
Trey, you never had to protect a woman's honor?
Say that again.
No, I've never had a problem when I've gone out. Like, and I've dated women that were very attractive and curvy and all that, and I've never had any issues. And I'm not the biggest guy. I'm 5'11", I'm not even 6 feet. I'm not the biggest guy. I just like I think that most men just like, we just know, like, there's always a certain level of respect between two men, because we know that it could go down. And so most men just sort of just leave it alone and move on. You know what I mean? But I've never had that sort of situation where like I had to, like, I'm about to get into a fight or somebody grab my girl. Or it's never happened, and I've never done that to anybody else's, a lady either.
Well, Trey, I think probably just goes back to being present, right?
Say what?
First of all,
What'd
hi
you say,
guys.
Daryl?
I just want to say hello to you guys first of all.
Hey,
And
Terry. I
how
forgot
you
you. I didn't even
doing?
see you. I forgot you. I forgot to bring you up. I'm so sorry. I
All
took
right, DeeDee forgot about me.
I
All good.
and then I was supposed to click, and then I went to talking with the yapping about my, and then I forgot. But yeah, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just kind of
Good.
I didn't want to interrupt what Trey was saying, but there were some things earlier that he spoke about and touched on, which I would also like to add to as well. But first of all, DeeDee, congratulations yesterday on Fatty. This was a nice little stream.
Oh, okay.
This was
Thank you.
cool.
I
This was
appreciate it.
good. Yeah, you did your thing on there. But
Thank
Trey, I would say two things. Well, I'll start with one first. I think it goes back to what you said earlier about the presence, just being present. Sometimes you don't need to fight certain battles if you're actually presently there with your, your lady. And I do think some women, some but not all, like I think they may take that for granted or not see how important that is, you know. I remember this was some time ago. I dated someone, and she went on a girls trip with our girls.
Girl.
And long story short, like her girls, they got robbed. And I remember when she was talking about it with me and describing everything to me, and she was like, "Oh, but how come it didn't happen to the others?" And like, and she told me more details. But the other people who are around, they had their boyfriends and husbands with them, you know. So I do think the robbers, they target singles because they know that if we have to go rob the others over there, we have to deal with the backlash of their boyfriends, what they might do, you know. So that's kind of just what I wanted to add on to that, Trey, what you were speaking about earlier. Yeah.
And while I'm at it, see, thank you for the super chat. He says, if a bear smacks you, it might off you. Apex breed. That's what Trey was saying. Child, I don't know. That bear situation is just ridiculous. I don't crazy.
Yeah, go ahead, Trey. You can go ahead now.
No, I was saying back to what Daryl was saying. Like, no, I've never been in a situation where I had to, not saying that I wouldn't. I mean, if she's my girl, I'll protect her. But I truly do believe that most men, that's just a natural respect we have for each other. When you out with your lady, you know what I mean? We can just see it and just kind of, we leave it be, and it just is what it is. Like I said, every now and then you do, like I said, when I used to work Club Zone and stuff, you get a guy, he been drinking too much, and he see a pretty lady, he don't really know what to do with himself. But typically what will happen is his boys will be there, or somebody will be there to kind of, come on, man, you tripping, or you drunk, or whatever the case, man, chill out, you know what I mean? She out here with her husband, or she out here with her man, like, you're doing a lot, somebody would be there to kind of corral him, to kind of calm him down. And I've also seen some guys where, boyfriend had to do what he had to do, and it is, what I mean? Husband had to do what he had to do. It is what it is. But I laugh at this notion, knowing what I know about the world and knowing what I know about what happens when you step outside your house, that when a woman says she doesn't need a man, I'm like, well, I disagree with that, because anything can happen. I saw a video yesterday of a woman who caught a flat tire and was pulled over on the side of the road in North Carolina, didn't know nobody. And she's like, oh, I've been here for 40 minutes and nobody's pulled over. And again, once the shit hits the fan, now we start looking for men. Where are the men? If somebody's a man, come help me, please come help me. Somebody do something. Somebody come help me. And it's like, well, you wouldn't have that problem if you would have focused on having that man. My thing is always now, fuck the bear. I tell him, call your job. Because that's who you put before all of us. Call your job. Tell your job come help you. Call your boss, the man you actually respect, your boss. Tell him to come out here and come help you. Call your job. See if that's right. Your job don't give a fuck. That's right. They don't care. That's right. So no, because if you had a man like me, even if you were in North Carolina, I got AAA. I can send AAA to come help you. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not there, I can send AAA to come help you, or I can call a service and say, "Hey, go get my girl off the side of the road." You know what I mean? Like, we as men, we're resourceful. How you think you have all this innovation? How you think you have all this stuff? Y'all have tampons because a man's wife got sick and he had to figure it out, so he made her a tampon. Like, how do you think we have all this stuff? So this idea that you don't need me, man, please, that's crazy. It's insane.
Well, let me ask this question then. Do you think that a lot of men, I don't say most, but you think a lot of men are jealous that women have these jobs and careers and they're putting their careers first before them? Do y'all think that men are really mad about that? What you think, C. Irvin?
That got me thinking.
Because we hear it all the time. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Independent boss chicks, they're making the money. They don't need a man. We know we hear that. Oh, but are men jealous of
I think a man who's a man maybe who's not confident in himself is, because when my uncle met his wife, he was earning less money than her at the time. She was earning more than her, but he knew his responsibilities and duties to her, and she also respected that. So he didn't feel a type of way, when that was a situation earlier on. And then he ended up going on to make more than her. Of course, like she had to take a step back when she had a kid and stuff like this. But I do agree. I do think there are some men out there for sure who are a bit, I would say, maybe jealous or envious of that fact that maybe, their person is making more than them.
Because usually women will say that men are insecure by it, because if his role is to provide for his family, right? And he's focused on that, but somehow the woman ends up going into a field or a job or whatever, career, business or whatever, and making way more. And she, when women make the money and they make more, they take on this mindset that they don't need the man because they can provide all of the stuff that he's supposed to provide. Do you think, Trey and Daryl?
Can I just add, DeeDee? I think it's just as well how you go about it. I'll speak from the woman's perspective. I believe that it's how you go about it. If you have a job that's earning more than him, if you're throwing it in his face, of course he's gonna feel a type of way.
Right.
It's the same as if she's with her girlfriends, and she got promoted and she's throwing it in their faces. Of course, they're gonna congratulate her, but then after a while, when she keeps saying, "Oh, I can do this, I can do that," they're gonna feel inferior. So if you make your person feel inferior, I think they will feel a type of way. And I think with men who earn more than their partner or a significant other, they typically don't make their lady feel inferior because they know their role. They don't say, "Oh, I've got a promotion, I've got this job, I'm earning more than you. I can pay for this trip for us. I can," they just get to it,
I think it's expected of the man to do that. So that's what he's prepared to do. Women, on the other hand, don't feel that that's their role and that's what they should do, even though they're able to do it. This is why a lot of women don't respect men who make less money. And they'll tell you, "I won't respect you. I'll disrespect you if you make less," because they don't innately feel like that's their role, but that's the role that they chose, which is interesting. You chose to be independent and equal to a man, to be able to work, have bank accounts and all these things, to be treated equally as a man. But at the same time, women don't believe that that's their role innately. They feel that that's the role of a man, to protect and to provide. But then they go out because they don't want the man to do it. They want to do it themselves. Then you complain about him not doing it, even though you wanted to do it and you're capable of doing it. It's a psychological problem. Like, you want to be able to take care of yourself, work, be equal to a man, but then when you're in the position to do it, now you still want the man to come and do what you believe is his role, even though your role has changed. It's confusing. You get what I'm saying? Like, you want him to protect and provide, but you want to be independent too. So you struggle and you work to be independent, make your own money. Now brag about making your own money, but still want him to come in and pay everything.
Yeah, I think if two people are making money, DeeDee, they have to learn how to be interdependent, meaning
Right, I get that.
together.
Yeah.
And I think some women, like, who take on this independent mindset, they don't know how to be when they get a job,
don't.
but men they're used to that, as far as relationships goes. So they kind of have a better understanding of how to work cohesively together,
Mm-hmm.
Even in sports. We can go back to sports. I think, like, look at sports. A lot of the male sports are, they're more dominant. They're better to watch. They bring in more viewers and everything because those men learn
Watch the women
how they learn how to be interdependent together to get the goal.
Right.
LeBron doesn't say, "Oh, I'm independent and I'm better than all of you, so I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and I earn more money than you and you and you, so I'm just gonna do my own thing." No, when it's time to come as a team together, they learn that okay, I got to put my pride and ego aside. Sure, I may earn more than the players on the team, but I have to put in my efforts too, you know? And I think maybe we should start to try to look at relationships a little bit like that too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Successful MD says, does it matter? They still get passed around. Thank you, Successful MD. What's your thoughts on that, Daryl?
Ms. DeeDee, I have a certain method. I use the KISS method every time I address something. Keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't matter whether she's boss or feminine. If I have her heart, it does not matter whatever she does. If I have her heart, if she's like, I'm really into this man, I'm golden.
So anything, she could do anything?
I can do, yeah. It doesn't matter.
No, so she could do anything she wants as long as you got her.
Because see, I have the understanding she's going to do that anyway, whether I have her heart or not. She's going to do whatever she wants. So it's up to me to whether I want to tolerate it or not. But if I have her heart, she's going to be more mindful of what I like as opposed to what she wants to do. Usually, a woman, when she's into you, no matter what, if she's into a man, she's into him. She's going to give him what she don't give other men. Now, other men she doesn't like, or she'll do what she wants and run over them. But the guy she likes or she has feelings for is all about what to keep him around. What I need to do to keep him around. And I've been in that relationship, and I have a brother who's been in that relationship. I mean, when a boss chick has something for you, she takes care of you, and she does not do anything to disrespect you because she wants you there. Not that I'm saying that it happens often, but when it does happen, that's it. It doesn't matter what her mindset is or her goals is. If she loves that man is the priority. That's what she's gonna do. Whatever makes him happy, so he can stay. That's it.
It reminds me of my uncle and his wife. You know what you said, Daryl.
So if she loves you, if she truly loves you enough, she gonna do what's necessary to make it work.
To keep you there.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like a woman, she needs to be able, well, both parties need to be able to love and like each other. You know, and that's something I've seen in, you know, my uncle's marriage. Like his person loves and likes him. You know?
See, you just made it hard. You mean I gotta like her too?
Come on, Daryl. Come on. Because if it's just love, like love, I think kind of just love dips throughout the relationship. But if you have like someone that you actually like, you can enjoy the moments with them. You know, I think throughout. You need to. It's important. It's important. I do think, I'll say this, DeeDee, I do think there are a lot of men who don't like the girl that they're with. They just love the girl that they're with. And I think vice versa as well for some women. You know, this is why some men, like they stop, like after the attraction phase and everything, they stop doing certain things. You know how some women say, oh, like he stopped going here or doing that. And I think for some men, I think it's because that attraction level has gone. There's something in there with the attraction level that's left. But I think it's also the like component. Because a guy can still love her, but he just doesn't want to go places or do anything. He just wants to chill at home, you know, all the time. But I think if that like is there, you want to do something. If I like Trey and he's my boy, I'm going to always want to do something here. And if he tells me there's something going on this weekend, I'm going to try to want to do that because I like the person. If I just got love for him, it might just be like, and you have fun, do your thing, you know?
But it doesn't mean like, because if I get what you're saying. I get it, you know, or just in general, if you like the person, you just want to be around them. It doesn't matter where y'all are, You just want to be around them. Y'all could, because I know, you can you have a good time with them no matter where you are. You could be sitting on a park bench and y'all have a good time laughing.
Right.
Y'all with each other. So yeah, that is a thing. Trey, what's your thoughts, Trey? I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I don't think that men are intimidated. I don't think men are insecure. I think what happens is that when women make more money, they become the worst of themselves. And I think that is what turns off men the most. I think what happens is that the women don't oftentimes realize how much pressure and responsibility comes with being the breadwinner. I don't think they get that. I don't think they understand that leaders actually sacrifice the most because you have to make sure your people are good. If you are in charge of something and you are responsible and accountable for things, there are times where you may have to be an asshole to somebody that you really like because maybe they didn't do what they were supposed to do or they weren't where they were supposed to be. And I think oftentimes when women get in this position, they realize, hold on, I got to be somebody that A, either I don't know how to be, or B, I don't want to be. I don't want to be this person. It's not easy to be the leader of a household because there may be times where you have to tell somebody, hey, we can't afford to do that. We can't do that. And then you have to deal with the rejections. You have to deal with the hurt feelings and the sadness. And then maybe you might feel like, dang, I can't even get this little simple thing from my family. Now you feel bad. So I think a lot of women realize they want that position. They want to be the breadwinner until they actually. It's like being a pilot. Everybody want to be a pilot until you sit in the seat. And once you start to sit in the seat, you realize all the responsibilities that you have and all of this. And then if this thing goes down, it's your fault. If this goes down, it's your fault. I think then they realize, oh no, I don't want this responsibility. Whereas men, we look at this like, dang. Well, it is what it is. I've been groomed and raised and conditioned to be this way my entire life. They've been telling me, they've been preparing me to be the leader of my household my entire life. This is what I've been raised to do. So we kind of not necessarily look forward to it, but we accept the responsibility as it comes. And I think oftentimes women don't understand what they really are getting themselves into. And it oftentimes brings out the worst in them. They get stressed. They can't deal with it. They start to lash out. They start to become disrespectful. They start to do a lot of different things because they don't really know how to handle that position of authority. Just because, and listen, you're talking to a man who had one of the highest positions literally in the world, right? As a police officer, I can literally take your liberty from you, put you in handcuffs and just stuff you into a cell. Just because I have the authority doesn't mean I can just go around willy-nilly doing whatever I want to do. Right? I had to use it responsibly. I still had to be respectful to citizens. I still had to, there's a way you go about it. Oftentimes, I think that when women get in these positions, they don't understand that, and they wind up becoming really, really, really nasty and bad people.
Yeah, it's emotionally draining, right, Trey? Like being a boss for a company. And I agree. I definitely agree with a lot of what you said. I think some women who take on those positions do take on more than they can chew. I don't know if you guys have dated women who are boss chicks, but I've had, in the past, and I remember one in particular. I remember every time we didn't live together, but every time we would meet, it was always something stressful about work. And I had my own stresses because I also had a position similar to hers, and she would always, express how draining it was for her, so yeah, I do believe that sometimes some women do take on more than they can chew. And as you said, you said about the pilot, but everybody wants to be a boss until it's time to be a boss, so
especially when you realize, like I said, when you realize that it's going to be on you,
right
it's just going to be on you. Like if this fails, the boss is, because every boss got a boss, right? So when this fails, your boss gonna be looking at you like, well, why? What happened here? But when you're leading of a household, if your home fails, there's nobody to point the finger at. It's just you. You're the leader, so your home is failing. Your kids out here like that 17-year-old and the boy in the video that we watch, right? Sweetie, there's nobody to point the finger at. You raised them. Right. You raised them.
And these corporations, they have no feelings for you. That's the next thing. I think sometimes people take on these jobs and think that these jobs have love for them. You know, they don't in the end.
They will replace you in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
They
There's no
will
love in it.
replace
There's
you
no
in
there's
the
no
morning.
love in it. There's no love in it.
I don't have no feelings for a boss chick. I don't. I dated a boss, well, a couple of them, and they'll get in a situation and they'll talk to me about the situation. I have a resolution, and it only took me one time to make the mistake of giving my answer. I said I'll never do that again. But boss chick had called me talking about what happened at work or what she did. I said, well, you can do this to correct what you did. And I'm not doing that. That's foolish. So I was like, okay, fine. Don't. Come to find out, the resolution worked. And of course, the boss chick, instead of saying, thank you, I appreciate you, she turned on me. Oh, you think you're smarter than me. You think you're better than me. You think you do this. I'm like, okay.
That's the next thing, because a lot of ego is involved in those type of positions, Daryl. You know, so when you do, as an outsider looking in and offering a solution, and it's not the solution they had in their head, they don't want to go with it. They want to rebel against it and do it the way they feel that they should do it. And like you said, you offered a solution, and yeah, she wasn't receptive to that. It worked, but she wasn't receptive to it. You know, so.
Yeah.
What I see often is that women they struggle with the idea of turning it off. You know, you go to work all day, you tell people what to do, you delegate, you make decisions, you sign papers, you're constantly in charge, and then you want to come home and you just bring the same attitude home. Well, the problem is that you got a man in the house, and that's what he does. You know what I mean? So now you're just bumping heads. And I'm telling you, I mean, my ex was a cop too, so she's used to telling people what to do all day. You know, and she was a sergeant, so she's used to telling people what to do all day. And she, and then when you get home, now you think you're gonna boss me around like I'm one of your troops? Absolutely not. It's not gonna happen. That's not happening at all. And oftentimes I would have to remind her of the hierarchy in the home. And I tell her all the time, baby, you ain't at the top. I'm at the top. Let's not forget that. I don't work for you. I don't work for you. And so because I don't think that men have a problem with women who make more money. I think most men would be perfectly okay and say, go on out there, baby, go on, go get that money. Now, me personally, I wouldn't want that. But I think there are a lot of men who they'd be perfectly fine with it. I dated a chick who made more money than me. She made like $50,000 more than me. It wasn't a little bit. She made a lot more than me, right? And I used to tell her, I was like, I'm not leaving you because of the money you made or who you are, the position you have. You're just not a nice person. Like you're just not a nice person. Like everything's a problem. Like we go out to a restaurant, there's a problem. Like there's a problem with you at work. And some of the stuff that you have problems with, you bring it on yourself with your bad attitude. Like you just have a bad attitude. Like you're just not a nice person. Like that's all it is. It has nothing to do with the fact you make more money than me. You're just not nice. And I don't want to be around that. I think women should be sweet and kind, right? They should be the nice parts of the human species, right? But oftentimes they can be the meanest and the coldest and the most callous of us, right? And I don't think I don't want that. So that's why I'm like, no, I'm out. I'm good. You have at it. Last I checked, she was still single, and I know she's gonna be single for a long time because she's just not nice. She's just not a nice person.
Do y'all think most of the boss chicks are mean? Most of the women who take that on are mean? No.
If they're single, yeah.
Oh.
If they're single, yes. Because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. There's nowhere in the world you have a woman. Bernice Burgos is a great example. Boss chick, run her own company, fine as hell, can't keep a man. Why? That makes no sense. There's no logic behind that. She fine as hell and she got her own money.
I think a big issue is, how do you turn it off at home? I don't know about your situation, Trey. I don't know if
they can't. That's the thing, Sierra. They can't.
But I mean, with my uncle, I mean, I can't remember how, but they had that conflict as well with my uncle and his wife back then, and they had to sit down and talk about it, because she was struggling with turning it off, going to work, coming home. I think it is difficult. It's a difficult task, and I think maybe it's maybe not worth the squeeze. Maybe for maybe a lot of men. I don't know.
See, it goes back what I said. If she loves you, she'll do it. If she respects you, she'll do it. She'll turn it off because she wants you to stay. It's just that simple. Otherwise, nope, they're not turning nothing off. They're not turning anything off. And I've seen both. I've seen when they turn it off when they got with me, and I've seen when they come to me and it's still open, right, going straight, going. And the one thing for me is the men don't try. I say don't challenge it. Let it go. Then you gotta make a decision. Do you want to tolerate it or you don't want to tolerate it? Because it's not turning off. But understand, if she doesn't turn it off, she does not like your behind. She does not like you. She does not respect you. If she doesn't turn it off or realize that she doesn't want to be this way with you, she does not respect you. So you need to understand that this is where you at in the totem pole with her if she does not turn it off. Because she can turn it off.
Well, Daryl, do you think some of them are not as self-aware?
But I'll say this
about it.
How could you not? And maybe it's just me. Just because you go to work and that you have a specific job at work, why can't you understand the difference between work and home? You don't come home and you just yell at I don't know what you're doing on the job. Are you mean to people at the job? And then you come home and you like, how are you not able to distinguish the difference between work? That's one environment. And then your home life is a different environment. You come home to your kids and you love on them and your man or whoever. Like, how is that so difficult? I don't understand why. I think they know the difference and could do better. I do agree with Daryl that it's a matter of if you want to do it or not. Because if you want to do it and you love and respect that person, it shouldn't be difficult. I think things are difficult for women when they don't want to do it.
I'm surprised at you, Mrs. DeeDee. I am surprised that you didn't know the answer to your own question. It's one word: control.
Yeah, they
do not want to relinquish
control.
Because if you go to work, you got control. You top dog. I mean, you big time.
I agree, right? Because every boss got a boss, right? Can't you?
But then you go home and you got to say, "Well, okay, he's a top dog. Good luck with that. Good luck with that."
No, I don't agree with control because no woman has control over a man to begin with. No woman has control over a man. You can't stop that man from doing anything he wants to do.
A boss chick don't know that.
But I guess she'll try to exert some type of power or control over him. Even if it doesn't work, she's gonna try. And that's where the tug of war happens. That's where y'all at odds because she's trying to compete, trying to be better, and trying to control you. They could try, but then that's when it ends up being a problem, wouldn't you say?
Sure. She can try.
But it's gonna be a problem then. Y'all gonna have a problem then. Because you're the man, you know better. This is not what you want, and she's steadily trying to push that. And don't you think that's gonna cause a problem in the relationship? That relationship ain't gonna last because it's a tug of war for control on her part. She knows that you're not gonna let up, but she keep trying and forcing it, which y'all not gonna be together. Y'all gonna end up breaking up, right?
Yeah, you're gonna end up breaking up. But the issue stems from way before all of that because you shouldn't have dated her in the first place. Like, the vetting process is important. And if you got to that point where you're dating a boss chick, well, you had to know what was already coming. Like I knew what was coming when I was dating an assistant DA. I knew what type of woman she was. She was just fine as hell. I knew exactly what type of woman she was. I knew exactly what type of woman she was. She was used to telling people what to do. That's what she's used to doing. Right. And I had to remind her, like, I don't work for you. You don't get to tell me what to do. And it would work for a little while. And then she would forget. And I'd remind her again. And then she would forget. And then it just got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm out. Like, I'm out. You're just not a nice person. I'm out. Right. But this idea that it's about control. Well, I guess, yeah, if it's perceived control, then sure. Because they don't have any control. Women can't make men do anything. Men just kind of do what they want to do.
Everything
Like, they just do what they want to do. They have
is perceived control, Trey. Most of everything, all the stuff that women are doing is a perceived control, in my opinion. It's not actual control. They think they're running something that they're really not, but it boosts them up. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel like they're doing something. Hence the reason why a lot of women think that they're better than men and they don't need a man. They could do it better than y'all. They don't need y'all. And so, they have to tell themselves that and believe that, because it makes them feel superior over men. And I don't know why that's such a big deal. Why it's a lack of something where women have to feel like they're superior to a man. And I think it may have stemmed from women, them thinking that they was held back when they couldn't have bank accounts or something. So now we got to show and prove that we are better than these black men, because that's who they attributed it to. So it doesn't really get you anywhere, though. At the end of the day, a lot of these women are still struggling. They're still broke. A lot of them. You still are not better than men. If that's that's what you think it is. I just don't see. It becomes once again, to me, it becomes a contest. Like you're fighting. You're trying to see who's better. I don't know if y'all probably watch a lot of podcasts and videos and stuff where this woman was saying she want a partner. Y'all hear that all the time. She want a partner and she want a man, her and her man to work, to get like work. And she wanted him to push her to see how far she can go. And she pushed him, and she want to feel good that she can go toe to toe with him and all this. I thought that was a bunch of BS. Like, girl, it's not they're in competition with men. That's what it is. They try and they
the only competition you should be in a relationship is a competition of generosity. That's the only competition you should have. You want to compete about something in your relationship? See who can be the most generous to the other. See who can serve the other. See who can serve the other better. That's the only competition you should have. Outside of that, there should be no competition. And here's the other part of this. One thing, I've told my sister this. If you have to be the woman that has to push a man, inspire a man, and motivate a man, get rid of him. Because most men should be self-inspired and self-motivated. He shouldn't need you to get up every day and go get after. He shouldn't need you. Yeah. Now you can be a means to an end, like my family. Like my family helps to motivate me, right? Because I want to make sure they're good. But if a man needs you to inspire him or to motivate him, you need to get rid of him. You need a whole new man. Because that's not how men operate. We go get it because that's just what we do. It should be ingrained in you. It should be innate in you to go out and go get it. Now, women, on the other hand, yeah, because some women typically can be kind of lazy. So yeah, you got like, for instance, anybody ever dated a woman, you got to go to the gym. Most times she don't want to go to the gym. So you got, come on. You got to kind of push her. Come on. We're going to the gym. Come on. We're going, I don't want to go. And I'm sore. And we went yesterday. And do we have to go yes, we have to go every day. Come on, get dressed. You kind of have to push them, because if you let a woman be lazy, she will be lazy. She'll do it. She'll sit right there on that couch and watch Law and Order SVU all night and be happy about it. And you can't tell her nothing. So we have to push her. But on the other hand, if you have a man that's like that, get rid of him. I'm telling you, get rid of him right now. You wasting time. This competition thing, especially within the Black community, has destroyed us. It's destroyed us. Yep. There is no competition between Black men and Black women. We're not equal. We're not the same. But if we work well together, we can be really damn good. And that's been proven. Been proven over time, because all you have to do is look back into the 40s and 50s when we were married at the highest rates. If you look and see how much money the Black families were actually making by being sort of on their own, and when the nuclear family was intact, Black people were doing, even during Jim Crow times, were doing actually pretty daggone well. Yep. Right. In comparison, even through the worst of times. And it's because we had a family, right? We had a family to fall back on. So this idea of us always competing with each other doesn't benefit either side. And the men will come out on the plus side of it, because it's just the way we're designed to. We're going to come out on the better side of it at the end, because we have more time to do things, right? And the world's, we can always work with our hands. There's a lot of benefits to us to being a man, but it doesn't benefit the women to compete with us at all. That's why we have the issues that we have now. That's why you can get 300,000, 400,000 women getting laid off and getting fired. It doesn't benefit you to compete with us. It actually benefits you to work with us, and in which they don't do. But if you want to compete about something, compete about who's better at serving the other in a relationship and who's the most generous.
It goes back to teamwork, Trey. There's no I in team, so it goes back to.
Yep. But what Kobe say? Kobe said, "There's a me in that motherfucker, though."
Yeah.
They don't want to work.
But no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like if you go back and go look at the numbers, go look at the stats, you know, and again, I don't push marriage. I'm not big on marriage, but I can't ignore the numbers. I can't ignore the reality that our community was doing way better when we actually had families. I can't ignore that and act like it's just not a real thing. It's a real thing. Our communities were doing a whole lot better when we had mom and dad in the house, and dad went to work, and mom took care of the kids and made sure they got educations, and maybe she had a little side job. Maybe she was a maid for for somebody, or maybe she worked as a secretary somewhere, down there. But ultimately, the dad was the breadwinner, and things were better that way. And now we have this whole thing of well, because I've been in those relationships. Well, you got promoted, so I need to get promoted. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why you
they were happy back then. They were happier. Black folk back then were happier despite the circumstances. I think in this generation, it's like a lot of people think just chasing money means everything. That's the difference between, I think, the mindset of now and before in the past. We knew money was always important, and someone needs to provide for the family. But I believe that both parties are more receptive to being instilled with certain things just outside of money. They knew our values were important as well. Being there for someone emotionally and mentally, this was it. It's wealth. There's wealth in that, in our health, being healthy. That's the new rich. But everyone thinks just getting to money and chasing money is going to bring that. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have good health, physically and mentally, you don't have anything.
No, go off what Trey said. See, I understand about the money, but back in the day, which I really can speak of, so I got at least 20 years on all of you, at least. Back in the day, it was, the job wasn't even important. It was how you treated each other. It was the respect. That would kept us strong and kept us together. It was the respect we showed each other. I mean, there's nothing back then. A woman that respected her man, there's nothing he wouldn't do for her. Nothing. Period. Nothing. And I'm that one that was included. When I got married, and my ex-wife at the time showed me respect, all she had to do was whisper something that she wanted, and I would make sure that she get it. I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't say like, well, I'm gonna make sure you get it. I would just present it to her, and that's how it would come. And the thing is, it was the respect, and that right now, that's what we're lacking. That's what's being absent now. It's the lack of respect one to another. I mean, Trey nailed it. You can have all the money in the world, but if you treat me like a dog is running. I'm running free. I'm out. Deuces. There's no way I'm gonna be your partner if you cussing me out, calling me names, or embarrassing me in public. No, all because you make more money. And then vice versa. You got a man out there, got a woman, she's out, and he cussing her, talking down to her out in public. All she's thinking about is how to get you back, period. But it doesn't matter. I mean, he paying all the bills and all this stuff. He's taking care of her, everything. But if he talking down to her, talking to her like she nothing, she don't care about any of that. All she care about is how to get away from you, period. So it just, back in the day, it's all about respect.
What? So it can't be just about the money. Or is it? Do you think that it's just solely about the fact that certain women, because it's not all of them. It's nowhere near all of them. why do y'all think that women, because the ones that make a little bit more money, why does it have to come with disrespect? I don't understand. I still don't understand why that when women make money, they become more entitled, they become more disrespectful, they become, more selfish. Like, so I tell myself that, oh, it's because, oh, I really don't know why does it have to be that way. Because when men make the money, men would, make the money and they're the breadwinners and they're taking care of everything. Women seem to have a problem with that too. Some of them, they still had a problem with the man being the leader. The man provided everything. Oh, they're telling them, oh, don't get with a man. The older women told some of the younger women, don't, you get your own. Take care of yourself. Don't depend on the man, because they had a man that they depended on. So what was so bad about that? And if that was so bad, why are women still looking for that though? You still want a man to provide and take care of you fully. It's kind of confusing. I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of confusing.
I think the mannerisms really don't translate to women. When they see men in higher positions, they I think they go to an extreme and assume that, like, I need to act egotistical, I need to act, rude, arrogant. I think because maybe some of those women are out of their element. Maybe that's not who they really want to be. They're trying to be something they're not, so they go to an extreme. I'll say, for example, like a gay person, for example, like, have you noticed typically a gay guy will go to the extreme of what a woman is? He will take on mannerisms such as you, DeeDee, but he will go to like the extreme. Yeah. He will take it to the max. Same thing with a stud, a lesbian. She goes to the extreme of what she thinks a masculine man is. And I think it's the same in this type of space. I think a lot of those women just pick up whatever they think the extreme is because they don't know how to balance it out. A gay person can be, feminine acting and masculine acting, but they don't believe that's the right way to do it. Just like with a stud, for example,
I think they're confused because you're complaining on each side. You're complaining about, oh, big mama, grandmama wasn't happy. Granddad paid all the bills, but she was miserable in the house being a slave, cooking and cleaning. Oh, so she wasn't happy. Now, fast forward, she told you get your bank accounts to get your money. Now y'all got your money and y'all can make it and do it for yourself. You still complaining about men not wanting to do everything for you. Make it make sense. Like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't understand. It's a confused mentality. I don't think they know what they want. And what they want, I don't think they can completely get. This is why I say, listen, in my opinion, you're not going to get it all. And I think they're trying to get it all. I think they're trying to get a man, the career, the lifestyle, all of this, what is it? Soft girl life. But you don't want to pay for it. You want to make the money and keep your money. But you want a man to come in who makes more than you and pay all for your lifestyle, everything, right? So you can keep your money and be this soft girl. You can work whatever you want. And he going to be okay with you going on girl trips. There's no requirements of you from him. I think they're looking for something that just does not exist because they keep complaining. You fought for one thing, you get one thing, then you complain. Where are the real men at? Who's going to come in and pay all your bills, even though you say you make six figures? Why would he do that? Like, I'm just saying, why would a man come in and pay for everything, every single thing you're asking him for, when you have a good job and you make good money and you got kids? Like, why? I don't understand that. And he's just supposed to sit back and be like, oh yeah, babe, because you fine, do whatever you want to do, and I'm gonna do it all for you, and I'm gonna work my fingers to the bone, and you could just go and live your life how you want to. I have no expectations of you. You don't have to cook. You don't have to fix me a sandwich. I don't think, I said this before, I don't think men are really difficult. I don't think that what men ask for is hard. I just think women just don't want to do it. But they want y'all to do everything that they want and need for you to do in the name of you a real man for doing it. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It does not.
I think, man, we know how to compartmentalize a bit better. We understand that you can't do everything all at one time. And I think a lot of people, like men, women in boss positions, sometimes they feel like they can do all, in all facets of their life all at once. And it's not possible. It's not possible. Even in a team, it's not possible to be everywhere on the court all at once and doing everything all at once. Because when you do that, you're drained. You can't make it through the game. You're done. You're burnt out, trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
you know.
That's not realistic to me. I just think the reason why, and I know, the relationships or the lack thereof of stable relationships is because of that. Women have lost their damn minds, in my opinion. I really think what they're looking for does not exist, and this is why they keep saying they're not going to settle. So they don't want to settle for an average man or a man who's, he's doing good, and y'all don't want to work with him. You just want a man who is rich to come in and take care of everything. What's the point of being an independent boss?
Yeah, but then they don't want to deal with the rich problems. You deal with a rich man if you want to, but rich men come with rich problems.
They don't want no problems, Trey. That's the thing. They don't want to have to go through anything. And I just think that is unrealistic in life. In life, just living, you go through shit. You go through stuff. Why do they think that?
So then that means that's a preparation issue. That means that they weren't prepared as children to be raised to be adults.
True.
That life is going to throw a bunch of shit at you. I was telling my son the other day, he's 15. You keep thinking it's sweet out here because dad made it sweet for you. Life is going to beat you up. It's just a matter of time. It's coming. It's inevitable for all of us. All of us have gotten beaten up by life at one point in time. And what I realized is, and I've oftentimes said this, because I think there's been times in my life where I haven't given credit to women. But I say, the time where life kind of whooped my ass, would it have been easier if I actually had a girl, if I had a wife? Like, I oftentimes think about that, like the time in which I was getting my ass handed to me, but life was beating me up. Could I have been able to buffer the blows if I had a woman there to work with me, rather than having to do it on my own?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that probably, more than likely, it probably would have been easier because at worst, she would have been a sounding. At worst, she would have been a sounding board. Who knows? She may have come up with an idea. There's a lot of men who have multi-billion-dollar businesses, and the wife was the one who came up with the idea. He just executed it. A lot of people don't get that credit, right? So at worst, maybe she just would have been a sounding board. But oftentimes, I think that if this idea that you're going to go through life and nothing's going to happen, that's insanity. You're a crazy person if you think that. And sometimes you get beat up more than once. There've been people who've been getting beat up for decades. They've been trying to fight through things, addiction, trauma. They've been fighting through financial issues, not being in the career they want to be in, family issues. Like life is going. And I learned this at 17 when the man that I consider to be my father, when he passed away, got into a car accident and he died. And it's like overnight he was taken from me. Life will beat you up. And we're not getting these young women and now the young men, we're not getting them prepared for life. And what we're doing is we continue to keep prolonging adolescence. We keep telling them, oh, well, you're not a full adult until you're 25 now. You're not a full adult until you're 30 now. And we're not raising them to say, hey, by the way, just to let you know, life is going to life here really soon. It's just a matter of time. We all get beat up. You need to be prepared, which is why you see videos. I saw a video yesterday of a woman on TikTok, 40 years old, in her car crying, talking about, I didn't do this right. I didn't live my life right. I saw another video of a girl in her house crying, saying, oh, all I do is work and just pay for this house because somebody told me to be independent. And what do I need a $250 light bill for, electric bill for? Like, they're not prepared for life. Like, nobody's getting them ready for this. And I think what's happening, DeeDee, is men are getting the backlash for it. We're getting blamed for it somehow. Like, somehow this is our fault that your parents and your family didn't prepare you for the inevitable in life. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's very weird. And this is what we're seeing more and more. They because women, to me, other women coddle other women. You tell them, oh, girl, you can do this, boost them, hype them up, make them think they can do all this. And they do it without thinking about the consequences, not thinking about the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows of life and what people go through. You get a job, you lose a job, you make some money. Sometimes you lose that money, you make some more money, ups and downs. Things aren't just straight like this all the time. It goes up. That's with business too. I always use that as an analogy. In business, it goes up and it goes down. You lose money, you make money. Sometimes you don't make money, so it's just what it is. But if you're prepared for it and you're expecting it, you know how to manage that. You know how to prepare for the ups and downs. But a lot of these women are out here moving like there's never going to be any downtime, like that. Like, you can't possibly lose. They're crying, oh my God, I've never been in this situation. I lost my job. Girl, you never thought that you could lose your job? You thought this job was etched in stone? No, you could lose your job just like everybody else. And yeah, and you're right. They are not prepared for it. They crashing out like little children. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Oh my God. Nobody ever told you how to prepare for a rainy day. And then they sitting up here on they're on this high pedestal, like, oh my God, I'm just so perfect. You niggas can't make what I make and dissing people. And then as soon as you lose that job, now you get brought back down. Now you're crying, looking like a little scared puppy, like, oh my God, now you're like,
Crying in your car talking about I got a cash app. It's my cash app, and you can you send me some money, please? Like, nah, you just said 3 videos ago you don't need no man. You just said 3 videos ago that you out here making 6 figures and they took it away from you. And let me be very clear about something. If COVID didn't teach anybody anything, you don't need 6 months of emergency fund anymore. You need over a year's worth of emergency fund now.
Well, they say
COVID should have taught everything. And most people don't even have $1,000 in a bank account.
Right.
Most people don't even have $1,000 in a bank account. If COVID didn't teach you anything, it should teach you better be prepared for, because anything can happen at this point. 2008 was a housing crisis. I was in high school, my senior high school in 2001 during 9/11. Like, you better wake up. There was the Ebola virus at one point in time. Like, you better wake up and realize that the world can shut down at any point in time. The rich don't care. They're going to be all right. They got boats and yachts. They will just go get on their yacht and go sail the seas for 6 months. They'll be fine. But you need to worry about you. Having 6 months of an emergency fund anymore? No, you need at least minimum a year. I would encourage you to have 2 years, but at least a minimum. And I learned that through the last COVID, because you start to look up, you're like, dang, I'm starting to run out of money here. And I had a job, DeeDee. I was still a cop. I was working. And I was like, dang, we need to figure this out, because the markets were down and my supplemental income was coming from the markets. The markets were down. So like we got a lot of things that we're not getting our young kids prepared and ready for life. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, how are you crashing out at 23 and saying, I don't know what to do with my life? Like, you're 23. You're supposed to have a college degree by now. Like, you're 23. You're supposed to be able to okay, it's gonna suck for 6 months, but I ain't gonna be able to go out and do a drink. I'm not gonna be able to go to the club. I'm gonna have to hunker down. I'm gonna have to work some overtime. In 2015, DeeDee, I had 50 days off. Just for the record, there's only 52 weeks in a year. I had 50 days off in 2015. I practically worked every single day. Why? Because there were things that I wanted. I wanted to invest in real estate. I needed a down payment. Well, I need to go get some money. You know what I mean? Like, and I had a little bit of a crisis going on in my family, and they needed the extra money. I didn't go to my car and start crying about it. I figured it out. Okay, that means I'm gonna have to work a little more. And I was exhausted, DeeDee. I was exhausted. Like, I was sleeping for days at a time. I was just tired. But we got 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds crashing out because they don't know what to do. And that tells me that you were not prepared for life. Somebody didn't get you right as a child and tell you that at some point in time, life is gonna smack you in the face and it's gonna hit hard.
But that's what fathers bring. They bring discipline. They bring the structure and discipline early
Survival.
on, you know. And I can say, even a friend of mine, just going back to the actual topic, DeeDee, like, can women raise sons? And I will say no, they can't. Like, single mothers cannot raise sons into men. I have a friend, like I said, he's a good example of it. You know, he grew up without his father, and his mother, as you said as well about coddling, his mother has coddled him so much, and I've seen how it's affected his life over the last, I've only known for like maybe 7 years or so, and I've seen how it's affected his life and his relationship life as well, and how far behind he is. When I bring him around other men, he feels sometimes inferior. He feels small, and he doesn't understand where it comes from. And I had to sit down and tell him, we had to have a sit down, and I had to say to him, you spend a lot of time around your mother, I mean, I know you love your mother and everything, but you spend a lot of time around her, and there's certain things that she cannot instill in you or teach you. His mother even says to me, "Oh, please make sure he's okay. Is he doing the right thing with the person he's talking to?" Because his mother doesn't have the answers, And I think with the single mother, I don't know if it's an epidemic, but it's like, you know, a lot of those women raise their sons and daughters in a way, either they coddle them or they raise them in a way where not to depend on anyone. Like the mothers to the daughters, they raise them like you don't need anyone. You can just go out there, and you're setting your kid up for failure.
Right.
You know, the mothers are not teaching the daughters, hey, you need to find a man that you can depend on, you know, not in a unhealthy, codependent way, you know, but in a way that, you know, we all need someone we can rely on and fall back on. We do, you know. If it's not a man, it's going to be the government, and the government doesn't care about you in the end either, because the government will come and make the rules for you, you know, and change them however they want, whether it's COVID or whatever, they will change up, and you have to do it, you know. So yeah, I would just say that, you know, I've really seen how it's affected one of my friends, you know, and like I said, in his development. And for women, it's a bit different, of course, but I believe it's just making women quite hardened, you know.
Well, don't worry. It's almost over. Don't worry. Listen, there will be no alpha.
What do you mean?
Because there will be no generation Delta. There will be no generation Echo. We're probably going to start running out of people around Generation Trump. So now don't worry about it. This whole thing is going to be over real soon, because Generation Alpha only had 38 million people. We only broke 38 million people.
It's everywhere too, Trey.
Not
everywhere. You can check, even in Europe, everywhere the population.
What do you mean? I'm giving you stats. I'm not giving you this. Not my personal feeling.
I know that.
I'm telling you the actual stats. Like in America, Generation Alpha only had 38 million people. How long do you think that's going to last? If we
same where you're at, Daryl, too.
Yeah, if we keep having declining population, generation after generation after generation, what do you think is going to happen eventually?
Yep.
Extinction.
Yeah. I'm not challenging the stats, Trey. It's just that for me, I was that son husband. I was the son husband. Okay. At age 11, I was making more than my mother was making, and she was working 2 jobs at age 11. So I was paying rent at age 11. At age 11.
What you was doing at 11?
Tobacco fields, Mrs. DeeDee. Tobacco fields. We were getting paid $20 a day. And back in the 60s, that was high-end money. Worked sun up, sundown, and that was it. So I was bringing home $100 a week. And my mother wasn't even getting that, working 2 jobs. So, and the thing about it, women cannot raise sons. They cannot. What saved me at the time was my father came and got me at the age of 15. And I lived with him then. And I got to learn the responsibility of being a man at the time. So, but as far as growing up, son, husband. And I
have a question after Daryl. Go ahead.
I wouldn't, I mean, to be the oldest boy in the family, I feel I have sympathy for any man that came up and he was the oldest one from a single mother, because you're gonna be put up. You forget your childhood, forget it. It doesn't exist. What exists is survival. You've been put on the chopping block to help your mother survive day after day after day, month after month, and that is it. And you're not given any other structure. The only reason my father came and got me is because I wrote him a letter, let him know what my day was like. What is my day like? And at that, he like, you shouldn't be put to that. But of course, I want to help my mother. I want to help her get through what she was getting through, and I want to help keep a roof over our head, bills paid, and all that stuff. And then I felt kind of proud that I was able to do that. You know, there was a sense of pride there. But I look back at it now, it's like there was a lot of things that my friends were doing. I couldn't go because I had to go to work, you know. And when we went to work in the fields, we stayed on the field. We stayed out there. They had places where we spent the night, bunkhouse. They call them bunkhouses. We spent the night. Here I am at age 11, out there, some strangers' property, spending the night, just so I can make sure that, you know, we had a roof over our heads and everything. And the thing about it, my father was there. He was helping out, but he wasn't invited to it. There was just things I didn't see between him and my mom. I didn't see those. My thing was I you know, working and helping her get through the day. And that was pretty much it. I was thinking about the question Miss DeeDee was asking about the women and how they was doing things. You know, they make all this money, but they still want the man to pay. It is the same thing that my sweet mother deal with, and that was selfishness. Selfishness. I think about if my mother had just denied herself and stayed with my father, because my father was in the military, my mother we'd have been traveling the world, going to pretty good schools, was mainly on base, and she would have been now collecting, you know, the military benefits. I mean, all she had to do was stick it out. But because she wanted her way, she did what she wanted to do. And the thing about it, and I'm just make this one point. When a man makes a mistake in business, most of the time, he can make 3 or 4 because he can recover quickly with it. When a woman makes a mistake in business, it is detrimental. I mean, it's like the bottom falls out and there is no recovery. Just like you all were saying, they end up homeless. They end up in a state of detriment that they can't get out of. Bills stacking up on them. They're about to lose their home, or sometimes they're about to lose their kids because of one great error, or the error of selfishness that they exercise, and they lose it all. And I was like, I would think, you know, I think about when my mom, if she stayed with my father, I wonder what it would have been like if she just stayed with him. A military man, that was big time back then. You got a military, you snatch a military guy, oh, you good, you golden. You traveling, you doing things, you getting benefits. You ain't got to worry about nothing. But, you know, there you go.
Yeah, you in line.
You know, it wasn't always a time where women didn't know what to do with money. I do realize that.
Wait, say
like
that again.
there wasn't always a time where women didn't know what to do with money. As a matter of fact, and there was a point in time where women actually kept the books in the home.
My grandma
that men went to work, and when he came home, he gave the check to the wife. He gave the money to the wife.
Right.
Something happened between that generation and to where we are now, because men, you'd be crazy to give your wife the money now. You don't know where that money can go. Right. But there was a point in time, because I remember my grandmother told me, she was telling me a story about how my grandfather would come home. He was an accountant, and my grandfather's very fair skinned, could pass for white. So he got a lot of different jobs where, you know, he probably shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? This is the 1960s, so he probably shouldn't have been there. But because of his skin color and the texture of his hair, he was able to get through it. So he was an accountant, and he made really good money. He made decent money, especially for that time. And she would tell him, like, he would come home, and they had paper checks back then. There was no direct deposit then, right? He'd literally give her the whole check, like the whole thing. And I was like, the whole thing? She was like, yeah. She's like, you just give me the whole check. They endorse it. They go down to the bank. She cash it. She give him a little bit of money to, you know, so he can go to the bar and go play pool or go do whatever his little hobby was. And then she paid the bills. She did the food shopping in the house. She kept the books and the checkbook. So there's an idea, like, we try to make it seem like, oh, well, the women didn't know. There was a point in time where women actually kept all the funds in the house.
Same with my grandparents, Trey.
Yeah.
Same thing you just said is the same situation. with my
That's
grandparents.
another reason. That's another reason why they did that, Trey.
Huh?
There's another reason why the men gave the women the checks. There's another reason, and that was loyalty. Because the woman knew that money wasn't going to another woman. That's why they did that.
Fine, but that's fine. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that we have a generation of irresponsible women, and between feminism and credit and debt, I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous. Like, I mean, listen, if you go out on a date, see Urban, you single like me, start asking these women how much debt they have. You're gonna be blown away at the numbers. What?
Trey, I already know.
You have how much debt? And DeeDee, this is the part that's gonna throw you off. They don't even it doesn't even bother them. Like if you would have asked me, if you were like, Trey, how much debt you got? I would be like, put my head down and be like, this isn't true, it's not. But if I was like, I got 110,000, like I'm hurt by it. Like, oh God, what am I gonna do? Like I'm gonna be paying this off for the rest of my life. Like this sucks. No, you ask these women, like, how much debt you got? I went to college and I got a master's degree and I got 3 credit cards. I got like 145,000. Like you saying it with your chest, like, girl, you sound crazy. You sound crazy. And there's no way in the world a man, especially if he thinks like me, is ever going to marry you with $100,000 worth of debt. That ain't happening. So this idea that women somehow they gotten worse over time with money. It wasn't that they weren't always bad. There was a time when they were great with money. They've got my car, dies in the middle, something like that. And I need like this. It's DeeDee, it's scary. Like just how it's like water off their back. Like, oh yeah, I got about 90,000. Well, I went to college and I bought a new car and my daughter's mom. I said, you got all this debt. I don't have no debt, sweetie. You just bought a house. You got debt, baby. You got lots of it.
I mean, Trey, my friend's ex, she went on a trip with like money that she didn't have. Like when he was with her, she told him a story about that. She didn't have the funds to go on this trip, but she went anyway. And then they had an emergency over there, and then thankfully that she has parents around to wire some cash. But
What about the video of Ben the Don and DDG on the boat, and the girl was supposed to go get the food?
That's typical.
And she didn't have she didn't even have $150, DeeDee.
I saw it. I saw that. I said, "Now, baby, you need to go to a job or something, girl."
Ben the Don cracks me up. I think he's hilarious. Ben the Don, he said, "You should not be on no boat."
Right. She shouldn't. He told her the truth.
She shouldn't.
DDG was like, I got it. But I'm like, come on, y'all having a fun timing it up, and you don't have no money. Like you need to focus on.
When you see these women on spring breaks, DeeDee, you see them in Tulum, you see them in Turks, you see them in Miami, you see them. It's either they pros, they smashing for the money to get down there, they got a sugar daddy, or they literally took out a loan. We're talking about women who are taking out loans to go on vacation. This is insane.
They surely are.
And here's the problem. Here's the problem with the whole thing. If you have debt, somebody owns you. It's plain and simple. Somebody owns you. Whether you like it or not. It's even in the Bible. Even in the Bible, it says that the debtor is slave to the lender. It's right there in the book. It's right there in the black and white. If you have debt, somebody owns you because you have to pay them. You have to pay it off. Or they're going to smash your credit. Now you can't get an apartment. Now you can't get a new car, right? There's all types of things you can't do. And we got women out here that's acting like, it's nothing. It's only.
It sounds like FOMO. No, Trey, it sounds like FOMO, like the fear of missing out. There's a lot of that.
You didn't know they think too. They could get They can get some man, some super simp to be like,
right, Mrs.
I'll give you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't got because we look good. We're gonna get a man. He gonna pay this for us. They ain't worried about it because somebody gonna, if they look good, somebody might be willing to give them some money to help them out.
Do you think the access to easy money has made some women irresponsible about it? Like, for example, OnlyFans or, stuff like this.
Probably.
Do you think it's probably made them like more irresponsible with the money that
parents? Your parents are supposed to teach you about credit, investing, and taxes. That's your parents' job. Your parents are supposed to sit you down and say, let me explain what a FICO score is. Your parents are supposed to sit you down, and there's a very good episode of The Cosby Show with Theo, rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner, but there's a very good episode with Theo, and he's talking about how much he got paid. And what did his dad start doing? His dad started taking money for taxes. Well, you got to pay for this, and you got to pay for rent, and you got to pay, like, life lessons. Your parents are supposed to teach you this stuff. That's why I keep saying we keep prolonging adolescence. Parents aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. If your kid doesn't know that it's $19.99 plus taxes, that's your fault as a parent, because you're supposed to teach them that. But if you say it's only supposed to be $19, it's only $20. It's $20 plus tax. Everything that you buy has a sales tax on it. The money you make gets taxed. The money you invest gets taxed. The money you spend gets taxed. And if nobody taught you that, that's your parents' fault. And the other part of this is too, is we have a problem with going back to our parents and saying, hey, by the way, you didn't teach me what I was supposed to know. We have a problem with that. Hey, mom, hey, dad, why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't you teach me this? Because that was your responsibility. Generational wealth has nothing to do with money. It has to do with life lessons. It has to do with history of your family. That's what generational wealth is. Right? It's supposed to teach you all of these things that you're supposed to learn. And we got a bunch of kids out here don't know nothing from nothing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Trey, it can go both ways. I mean, I remember DeeDee said on this podcast, on Fatty's podcast, your parents should be the number one influencer for you in your life. You know, not what they're seeing on social media, for example. You know, so I agree with you, Trey. Like, the parents should be that influence. However, there are some kids who want to rebel against that, you know, because they think their parents are not cool enough, and then they look to these other people they see online, these influencers, and they don't really know the ins and outs of how they got what they got or how they're living, you know, in real life, you know, the realities. So I mean, I agree on the fact that it is really important for parents to actually be the number one influence and influence the right things, of course, into the kid's life, you know.
The right things. Yep.
It'll be nice if these things were taught in school as well, but I know that probably won't happen.
But it's never going to be taught in school. It's never going to be taught in school because school is to prepare you to be a worker. That's why, right? And I'm not one of these people who's advocating for them to teach in school. What I'm advocating is for parents to be actual parents. That's what I'm advocating for. My son was with me. My son stayed with me during COVID, right? And my son would see me every morning, and I would have CNBC on, or I would have Fox Business News on. I would have something on with the stock market. My son would ask me what I was doing. Perfect time to sit him down and teach him about the stock market, to the point where I had him, with his little money, get him a custodial account and have him buy shares in Nike and Activision, because he wore nothing but Nike clothes and he played a bunch of video games. And every morning, Monday through Friday, before he had to get on the laptop to go check in for school, he had to come report to me on what Nike stock price was, and if there was any news on Nike, and if there was any stock, any news on Activision every morning. This stuff starts at home, man. We got an issue here where we keep trying to let parents off the hook. And now there's really no excuse, because you have a phone. You have a phone. If you want to know something, look it up. When I was growing up, we had almanacs and encyclopedias. You had to get a set of encyclopedias every year. And if you didn't know something, your mama told you go look it up. There was no internet to go hop on, or to go to the library. Go to the library. Now you got a library in your phone. What's the excuse now? You don't know something. If you don't know something about, you don't know what tax bracket you in, just look it up. Just look it up. You'll find out what tax bracket you in. If you got your,
they rather go on social media first, looking at someone else's life before they look at a book.
Yeah, a bunch of fat booty Latinas. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at fat booty Latinas on social media, rather than where should you be investing your money. You got a bunch of kids out here, you making money, and that's fine, but you're not investing in no assets, because nobody taught you how to invest it. Meanwhile, we got other ethnicities. They getting taught about investing age 8, 9, 10. Mama and daddy running a business. They working in the business, learning how to do debits and credits and balance sheets. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, our community needs that.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That sounded so good.
Just saying, our community that.
That sounded great.
Really do.
Well, somebody in the chat asked for a solution. There's your solution. Get better parents. We need better parents. Because there's always one clown in the chat. It's well, what's the solution? The solution is you need to be a better parent to your children. That's the solution. The solution is you need to actually prepare your child for life. That's the solution.
Well, see, Irvin, you living overseas right now, right?
Yeah. Germany.
The one thing I found out, and you probably seen it too, is that these well-behaved young adults are living off sponsorships. And they go across, they travel through and fro of parents that these same parents trade that you say teach their kids how to handle their finances, but they still enable them by allowing them to travel. Then, of course, also the sponsorship involving interaction with as a woman, interaction with men to sponsor them to go from trip to trip. In other words, fly me here, fly me there. Stay out. You come here and stay with me a couple of weeks. You come here and stay with me there a couple of weeks. They'll call their parents when they get down in some money. They send them something to get them going, keep them moving. So they are taking what they're being taught, but they're not using it in the way it should be useful. They're using it to their own selfishness. And that's going.
My argument isn't about how they use it. My argument is the fact that they're being taught.
They're being taught.
Which you just confirmed.
What are they being taught?
They're being taught, though. Our community is not teaching. I dare you. Go out right now and ask any 18-year-old black man what does P&E mean. Go ask him. Go ask him, can you give me an ARV on this real estate real quick? They're going to look at you like you're speaking Chinese. They have no idea what you're talking.
But what if the black man's trying to be a plumber? He wouldn't know that.
Sure he would.
He wouldn't know.
Sure he would.
Looking at that.
Sure he would. If he's a plumber, he's gonna retire one day, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gonna retire one day. Absolutely.
Okay, so then he needs to actually put his money somewhere where he can actually have funds when he retires in 25 years. So he does need to know what a P&E is on a company. I mean, on a stock. And not only that, doesn't a plumber want to run his own company at some point in time? He should know finances.
He depends. But see, most likely, any man that's building up, that's the difference between men and women. Any man that's building up, he's trying to create for a multitude. That's what he's trying to create because he wants to multiply. Usually when a woman's building up her finances, it's for herself. It's for herself. It's selfishness. It's not trying for the multitude. She ain't trying to share that. She's trying to get it for herself so she can get more. But the man is trying to build. Now, one thing I didn't think about retirement until 10 years in. I didn't think about trying to set aside retirement. I want to get what I want to get. I want to get that multitude. I want to build that home. I want to get that going. So I had to worry about not 10 years down the line. I had to worry about 3 years down the line. Insurance, escrow, that thing. Location, that. How to advance in my position and where I'm at now. What was required then? Like, what degree did I need? What other specifics I need to get?
I think this is something that we as the Black community need to focus more on. Retirement starts with your first job. You should be thinking about retirement.
I've taken out a separate retirement here.
Yeah.
Like living here and being around certain people, I learned, hey, like you gotta start this early.
Yes.
I agree, Trey, with this shit that we didn't learn.
Because time is actually your friend in investing. That's how compound interest works. The more time you have, the better it actually is for you. So if you have a teenager and your teenager is working, you should be thinking about retirement right then and there. Right then and there. That's when it starts. It doesn't start when you get your first real official job. That's not when it starts. It starts the moment you start working. When you start putting money away. And again, that's why I keep saying, we're not having these lessons in the house. What are we sitting in the house and doing? Are these kids just sitting there playing video games? Because if that's the case, then we are failing our kids. This is why these kids are, this is why they crumbling. They crumbling. They are really, really crumbling under pressure when they get fired. I have been fired from a job. I had it's a true story. I had a job at a printing company. And the dude was former Army and he was gay as boy, he was gay. Oh, he was super gay. Okay. But he paid well. Okay. He paid well. And I worked at a little printing company. And it was like one of them little printing companies, like where like lawyers needed documents, like copied and stuff like that. You would take it and copy it and put it in a little thing and you have it ready for when the lawyers came. And I was getting paid well, right? When I tell you that man got mad at me because he would be in one of his little moods, he got mad at me because I showed up late. I was about an hour late. I was actually late. I was late for real. And he fired me. Fired my ass right then and there. That's how I got into the military. I was like, well, this is stupid. You know what I mean? I ain't about to keep getting fired from jobs. He fired me. I didn't crumble. I remember going home. I had to ride the metro. I had to ride the red line. Red line was in Bethesda. I had to ride the red line home. And with the red line, I remember thinking like, all right, what's the next move? Like, that's how I was thinking. Like, all right, well, I got fired. Ain't nothing I can do about it. He fired me. It is what it is. All right, what's the next move? But you got people getting fired now, and they can't. They're having meltdowns. Yeah, they're having meltdowns, and it's because you weren't prepared. You weren't prepared. You didn't have that emergency fund to live off of. Oh, I'll be all right for at least 6 months until I can find another job. I'll be all right for at least 12 months until I get another job. There's unemployment that I can file too, so I'll be good on that. We'll make this work. I got that. Okay, I don't need this fancy coffee every morning. I don't need this. I got a plan to scale back, and so that I can be able to survive. No, instead, you're broke because you were living paycheck to paycheck anyway, and now you in real trouble. Right now you're in real trouble because you have no money coming in, and it has everything to do with the fact that we were just not prepared. One of my biggest things to do is to make sure that my kids are prepared for the inevitable, and we got to do that. I think at some point in time we got to start pointing these fingers back at these parents. Some of these parents are just horrible. They ain't teaching these kids nothing. We got to start pointing these fingers with these. It's the same thing with crime. You got kids carjacking and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, they get a slap on the wrist. It's like, nah, start locking the parents up. Start locking the parents up.
Can't even read. They're like third grade.
They're literate.
They can't read.
Can't read or write.
Mrs. DeeDee, didn't it bring up something last night on the fatty where one of the panelists brought up the fact that 64% of people incarcerated are from single parent homes?
They may have. I know it's something like that. Yeah.
It's something like that. See, 64% of people incarcerated from single mother.
I thought it was more. Okay.
Home. So what chance Trey, I get what you're saying, but what chance you got if you're a single mother out here and you fighting those odds? The mother's thinking about survival on herself. Period. And how many times do we hear where mothers are out doing their thing while the kids in the car? Leaving the kids in the car so they can go do what they want to do. How many times you hear that? How many times?
That's a rare case. Most single mothers are actually at home and they're pissed off because they can't leave the house. Most single mothers aren't actually at home. So those are rare cases. Yes, there are cases where single mothers are being neglectful. Yes, that is actually happening. But majority of single moms are actually at home. And they're angry because they are at home, and they feel, because here's the thing with kids, right? And DeeDee, correct me if I'm wrong, but you got kids too. But if I put my son on punishment, I actually kind of put myself on punishment a little bit, right? Because if I confine my kid to a room, right, and he can't go nowhere, and he's not old enough to go anywhere, I kind of confine myself to the room a little bit too, right? Because if he can't leave, then I can't leave. Like my daughter's 7. If I put her on punishment, well, I'm kind of on punishment too. I'm in the house too. She can't go nowhere, right? So you got a lot of parents that don't want to punish their kids because it affects their life, right? And you got to remember, grandma's only 45. Grandma's only 50. Grandma going out. She partying on the weekends too. This ain't old school grandma where she's 60, 65, and she retired and she just, want to plant her lemons in her garden. That's not what's happening here. They young. These grandparents young now.
30-year-old grandmothers. Yeah.
30-year-old grandma. And grandma got a date.
Yeah.
Grandma got a date.
You remember the movie Baby Boy, right?
Yeah, mama gotta have a life too.
My mama gotta have a life too.
Mama gotta have a life too. So so most of these single moms are actually stuck in the house on Friday nights, stuck in the house on Saturday nights now, because there's nowhere for them to actually go because they got the kid. So those are rare neglect cases. Most single moms are actually at home. That's why when you see, I don't know if you guys ever lived in like projects or been around projects, you'll see most of the moms are outside. I know in the summertime they're outside because there's really nowhere for them to go. There's really nowhere. The kids are inside sleep. There's nowhere for them to really go. So they're all hanging out outside because that's their social hour. That's a social place for them. There's nowhere for them to really go. They can't go anywhere.
Well, the ones I knew, they were going to the clubs. they was leaving
Babysitter.
They was going to the club, leaving them children in the house, baby, by themselves. I'm just saying.
Thank you, Mrs. D.
That's terrible.
It is terrible.
Thank you. That's terrible.
So, they were finding ways. It wasn't the best way, but they were doing it. They were putting them children to sleep, putting them in the bed and leaving them there and going to the clubs all the time. They go get an outfit and they go. That's what they were doing.
I know one person, she hired a babysitter, and the babysitter could only work till midnight. And then she just said to tell the babysitter, "You can go, and then I will be back there." So she was away from her kid from, well, there was no supervision from midnight till I think 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
That's
because she couldn't afford to pay beyond the overnight.
Right.
What about the women?
I don't think you can get single men to do this. Like, I don't think you could get single fathers to just leave their kids in the house.
Oh, hell no. No, to go party?
I think so.
Just to go out to go party. I don't think single fathers would ever do that.
What about the women that prioritize?
She told me, Trey, she was telling me there's no danger. It's fine. It was only a couple hours after midnight. It's safe.
Wow.
I'm like, no, men don't think like this. We think about no.
You leave a small child, baby, that child is in danger. Those kids you can't. And these ladies would leave like babies, several. They would have more than one, and they leave those children, and that's crazy, And some of those kids got hurt. Some of those kids, I know some wild stories. Some of them children got burned. Some of these children got hurt, and they lived, but they got hurt. It's just like it's some ratchicity right there. That's what I call ratchicity.
My stepfather, DeeDee, at the time in the past, he told me a story about like him and his friend almost burnt an apartment down when he was small because they were left unsupervised. Yeah, and they were playing around. Mm-hmm. And the apartment caught a lit and ish got real. So.
Ms. DeeDee, have you seen the videos where the women was prioritizing getting the weave, getting free weave as opposed to getting free school supplies?
Yep. They love the hair. They love the weave. They be outside the hair salon fighting for the wigs.
That's another problem, DeeDee, in the community. For real. That's another big problem, DeeDee.
I wish I would be outside fighting and wigs. No way, Lord, fighting out there, Lord, in a bunch of them over here fighting for wigs and stuff. Like this is insane. That's
you complain about. I mean, you can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get free hair, but you can't get up at 8 o'clock.
No, that's crazy. Nah. All right, y'all. I'm about to wrap this up. I'm tired. Latrell, thank you for the super chat. Says modern women say they're the most educated. We know that's not the case. Okay, cool. Then why can your kids only read at a 3rd grade level? Just saying, right? They don't equate the two. They don't see any comparison to why these kids can't, because it's the teacher's fault, It's the teacher's fault that their kids can't read. It's never their issue. They don't, you're not reading to your children. You're not, teaching them anything because you send them to school and that's the teacher's responsibility. And if they can't read, then the teacher got a problem. Everything is somebody else's problem. But they don't.
I remember seeing that school, DeeDee. I remember seeing that when I was in school. Like some of my friends' parents would come in and shout at the teacher and say, "This is your fault." I remember seeing it as a kid.
Bring back book reports.
They stopped that. Thank you, Latrell.
Wait, they don't have book reports anymore?
Reports. I remember book reports. They don't do that anymore. Lord, I remember that.
Okay.
There's a lot of schools where the kids don't even have homework.
They don't have homework.
Yeah, my son school when I picked him up, I said, "All right, come on." He said, "Dad," I said, "Go on and go do your homework." I said, "I don't have any homework." So what you mean, don't have any homework? We don't get homework. I thought he was BSing me. I was like, "Nah, that's not true." Go up to the school. No, they don't get homework. They have an hour. They get assigned homework, yes, but they have an hour of school called enrichment, and this is the time for them to actually do their homework. And they came up with this because there were a lot of single parents who were saying they couldn't be at home to help the kids with the homework, and so because they weren't home to help them with the homework, that the kids were suffering, so they got rid of the homework. They found an hour within the school time to let them do the homework at school now.
Okay.
And I thought this was just my son's school. No, this is a thing. It's like this is a thing. This is starting to happen. So no, they've gotten rid of cursive. They've gotten rid of book reports, and in some cases, homework.
They don't know how to write in cursive. They don't know how to do any of the stuff that we grew up learning. It's going backwards. Like, what's happening? Everybody can't talk about getting to the bag, and the children are dumb as hell. I'm just saying, it's all about the money.
De-evolution is what's happening. De-evolution. We're going backwards.
One word: selfishness.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the focus is not you want these kids, and then you're having them out of wedlock. Just you can take care of them by yourself, and and then you don't really have the time to put into the kids. So you can't be at home. You want to have these kids by yourself, but then you don't have the time to help them with homework. You can't really be there for them. You got to go get to the bag and make the money to provide the roof over their heads. So the kids ain't doing homework. They don't know how to read. It ain't your fault. You don't have time to teach them. Like, that don't sound like a good system. That don't sound like something that's going to progress these kids and they're going to be, winners for the future. It doesn't sound like that. And they're not seeing it, but they're still promoting this foolishness that doesn't even benefit your own kids or their futures. It's the part that I don't understand. You would think that these so-called educated people would try to listen and do things that will collectively help their kids, the children of the future and everything else, but they're not. I don't think they care. Either they don't care or they don't see it. Like, everybody don't get what, you might see something and learn something. Everybody else don't get it. People don't get it at the same time either. Either they never get it or they just don't get it, and I don't know. It's just weird.
All right, DeeDee. See you.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I'm tired. I'm tired. Thank y'all though for coming up though. I appreciate y'all for being here. Shout out to y'all. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend, y'all. I was gonna come in tomorrow, but I don't think I'm coming back up here tomorrow.
Yeah, DeeDee, you've been doing stream after stream after stream. You've been putting that overtime.
Yeah, I'm surprised I did it. Like, I'm like, oh my God. My husband was like, oh, you did? I'm like, yeah, but I'm tired. I can't.
I'm gonna tell you a secret about Mrs. DeeDee. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you one phrase you don't want to use with Mrs. DeeDee.
Go ahead.
Cheating.
Oh yeah, y'all know how I feel.
Cheating. Don't say it. Cheating.
Like cheating, yeah, because
like your spouse cheating. On you. Don't do it.
Okay, all right.
Don't do it.
They trying to get me. They like, well, what you and loyalty. What they say? If your husband cheats, is he loyal? I'm like, no, I don't know.
DeeDee, that's gonna be the next topic then.
Don't try to justify that. Don't try to justify it.
Yeah, no, I ain't.
Well, there's a double standard with cheating, DeeDee. You know this, right? When men cheat and when women cheat.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of girls who cheated and they've told me it was because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C. This is why I did it.
I don't care.
Exactly. She does not care, Sierra. She does not care.
I don't treat men like if a man cheat, they're not making no excuses for him. Oh yeah, you cheated, you low down, you wrong. So if you cheat as a woman, you're equally low down and wrong too. There's no justification. Just don't do it. If you're committed to a relationship, because they was talking about whether if you with a man and I'm like, I said, well, look, if the agreement is that when y'all meet, hey, look, I'm gonna be with other women, Are you cool with that or you not? You know, hey, this is what it is. You gonna want to be with me or not? And some women are okay with it. Some women are like, cool, I'm, you know, these are the rules, and as long as we stick to these rules, we're good. If that is your agreement, I have nothing. I have nothing to say. But if that's not the agreement was, look, we get married. The two of us, monogamous relationship is us, nobody else. We're committed to each other. That's what it should be. And if you break that bond or that vow or that trust or whatever you want to call it, then that is being disloyal. You broke the agreement, and that's not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for you to go sleep with other people. You didn't sign up for me to go sleep with other people. So I don't think you would want me to go sleep with other people. So why would it be okay for you to go do it? You know, because then now you done broke the contract. That means this is not a marriage in a sense. And then somebody did bring up the fact that, hey, if your person cheated, you know, it's not saying. I never had to deal with that. As far as I know, I don't know nothing about no infidelity. I never had to deal with that. Never questioned my husband, and he never had to question me. We just never had that. Never was an issue. And so my thing is this: you just never know which. I put it like this: you never know. You know, until you're in a situation, you don't know if you're gonna walk away or if you're gonna be able to forgive the person. That I can't say, because they asked me that. I can't really say what I would do because I've never been put in that situation. So I don't know. You know, some women stay if their husband cheat, depending on was it an ongoing thing, or did he just do it one time? What was your reasoning behind it? You know, stuff like that. That's a conversation you would have to have just to be realistic about it. And then, you know, also too, you know, because what I was about to say, damn, I forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, I just think that's a conversation that you have to have with your person. You know, if he was cheating the whole marriage, it's like, nah, that I might, you know, that might not be forgivable. Like you played me the whole time. Like, you know, and I'm sitting here being loyal to you. I'm gonna feel some type of way if that was the case. If you played me the whole time, I don't think I'd be able to handle that. I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay. No, I don't know about all of that. You know? So that's one of those situations you have to be in to know exactly how you're gonna respond. But as far as I know, listen, the agreement was the two of us till death do us part, and then when one of us go, then you free to move on to somebody else. You know, until then, no.
I mean, DeeDee, I'll say we're at a point where like open relationships are becoming more, well, at least over here,
becoming more popular.
Yeah, over here, you know. So it'd be definitely interesting if you can touch on that and like just your thought process on if you think open relationships can work. Like I've met women here who've had open relationships and they initiated, you know, and I've heard some open relationships where the men initiated, and I've heard two different type of dynamics and responses. So this is like a whole thing to talk about.
Well, you know, we actually talked about it on this panel before, and I actually know people where it worked and then somewhere it didn't work. And though open relationships are interesting to me. I probably bring that back because
definitely.
They have rules in some of them, and somebody always break the rule. That's the crazy part. I don't. If we gonna have to bring that back because that
DeeDee, I could tell you some experiences, and I would love to have like just some of them come up. Like definitely, I would definitely try to reach out because
Sierra, you should have seen her face yesterday when they brought that up.
I didn't watch all of it. I watched probably maybe half.
I didn't even see my own.
Okay.
You see the redness just rise up.
Yeah.
I said, okay, it's about to go down right now.
Yeah, I ain't for it. You know, like, what's the point of being in a committed relationship if you're gonna cheat? Like, if you want other women, like that had to be a conversation early on. Because if you told me that early on, I'd be like, okay, well, go ahead. You ain't for me. Peace out. You know, cool, nice meeting you. We ain't gonna even go any further. You know, but to build a relationship with the person and do that, I just nah. I don't know.
Yeah. What I realized with this girl who made an open relationship over here, she started to make like more expectations for her, like her partner, like, you know, her guy, you know,
in an open relationship.
Yeah, because like she initiated it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good, but I think there's different things take different turns. I think depending on maybe even who does it, because in her situation, he was happy with just her. She initiated it to him, and he,
Or
you
she
know,
wanted to bring in other men.
no, she wanted to mean open as in he can sleep with other women, and she
Okay.
can sleep with other men,
Oh,
and
okay.
she brought it to the table with him, and he, for whatever reason, God knows, he just said okay. He didn't want to do it, but he
But
did
it's
it.
okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to. She told me he didn't want to. Like they had long conversations about it, and she wanted to do it, and then she started seeing different guys and stuff,
Hmm.
and I think maybe she said that he only went with like one person,
Right, and she
and it
probably
was it was after a long time, and she went with different. Yeah, she had like
she
she
wanted.
told me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because she just wanted to be for the streets. She was tired of him. She wasn't pleased with him. She wanted more. That's
Right, so she was experiencing, Chad and Tyrone and how exciting it was with them, and she brought those expectations back to him and saying,
oh,
yeah, and it put
oh, that's
pressure, and
bad.
it didn't work. It ended basically.
Yeah, of
Long story
course. That's
short,
what I said. Usually
that
those
relationship ended.
they usually end, or it's
Yeah,
usually a hot mess.
and she
Yeah,
tried to get back with Chad and Tyrone, but they didn't want her.
no, they won't want
They didn't want her.
to out.
They didn't want her
Mm. Yeah,
because
that
she
don't.
thought she developed something with them during her open relationship. This is the next thing as well. Maybe some women think that as well when they go out in an open relationship and sleep with other men, that they can fall back on those men.
Mm-mm.
How they experience them is how they experience them. No, because when your person leaves you or it breaks up and you try to go back to them, they say, no, I didn't want you like that.
Right. You just
You
a
know,
fun. You just a good time. That's it.
and I think men understand that part. I
Yeah.
think in when men say, okay, cool, it's open, cool. You know,
No, that I don't. I think it's a recipe for disaster. I really
right?
do. I don't think you should do it. And if she
Mhm.
initiating it, I would say run. Because that's gonna be a problem. Just run.
Yeah.
Unless you ready for that type of situation, unless you don't really care about her and you just there because she cool and she could do what she want. But if you talk about, different, I'm not even trying to judge people and what they choose to do because you do your own thing. I don't really have a problem with people's choices. I'm just saying know what you want and know what could possibly happen when you introduce that type of thing or you open that up, that it might not be what you think. It might cause more problems than you're ready for. And do you really want that? So you just got to know if that's your lifestyle. If that's what you want, I'm like, y'all, if you could be in an open relationship and it works out, kudos to y'all. But
Mhm.
that's just not for me. That ain't for everybody. Yeah, I couldn't see it. They say men are territorial. Then I think some women are too. Because I'm like, I don't want to share. I don't want to share.
Yep.
I don't want to
Yep.
share. If you for me, you for me. That's it. I don't want to think about you being with nobody else. I don't want to visualize that. I just don't.
Mhm.
That's just me. And I know men be saying, the men say, oh, it's not natural for a man to be, what, y'all heard that before? It's not natural for a man to be
Be one monogamous.
with one
Yep.
woman. Is that, do
Mhm.
y'all agree with that? It might
I
be.
mean, Kaya said this as well. I mean, we weren't brought here because of monogamy, though, DeeDee. How we populated the world
Right.
wasn't because we wouldn't be able to populate the world how we are
Right.
here today. So,
But
yeah, but
I'm saying then that means you wouldn't commit to one woman then. You just would go and do what you were meant to be, right? I don't think if you think that you need to be with a bunch of women, because you can be disciplined. I don't think men have
yeah,
to be with a bunch of
yeah,
women. It's
for
a
sure,
choice.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
But if you are
yeah.
the type of person who think that you believe that and that's and want to, I'll say exercise that, then
Mhm.
why I don't understand why a person would commit to somebody if you don't want to just be with them. Just go do what you want to do.
Yep, yep.
Right?
Well, the
Mhm.
biggest magnet is that wedding ring that man wearing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yep,
biggest magnet, and
yep.
I've used that. I've used that,
That's
and
that's
it
Yeah.
works like
talking
a
about that.
charm.
So
Hmm?
more women are attracted to men who are
Yes.
committed to
My
a woman.
my uncle told me stories. My cousin who's married told me as well. Yes,
Yeah.
1,000%. One of my friends who's married. Yes, 1,000%.
If you are a provider looking guy
Yeah.
and you married, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yep. You're a
And
target.
you don't have to make no move or nothing. They're coming to you. They're approaching you.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's what even my friend said. He said he's hardly had women approach him in his life, but when he got married,
Then
women
all
start
these-
to all approach him all of a sudden now.
So I wonder if these women are looking for commitment or they just want to, mess up what he got going on. I wonder if those are the
Mm.
women that would say he did, fool with, mess with them and mess up his marriage and get with them. Is she going to be the commitment type woman, or is she just trying to mess up what he got going on? That's what I want to know.
I think
No,
sometimes
women-
it's something. I think DeeDee, sometimes it is the commitment. They want that because I think a woman is more okay with that. A man doesn't want like another man's wife. If he sees the ring on her finger, it's like that's for you, But with women, they think, oh wow, like she's attractive, he's even more attractive now. Like
Right.
I want to see what that's about,
They want to taste of that stability. They want to taste of that
So
stability.
there you go. If they haven't had that in their life,
Then
then yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. We're gonna end it right there. That was good. I appreciate the convo. I thank y'all so much for being here, though, and I appreciate y'all giving y'all perspective all the time.
Thank you.
Definitely enjoy the rest of y'all weekend, y'all. Because I'm not coming back here tomorrow. I'm going to get me some rest.
Yeah, definitely, DeeDee. Get some much rested.
I'm hungry.
You
Chill out and
Mhm.
watch a movie. I'm going to chill out for the rest of this evening. But I appreciate y'all. Yeah.
I appreciate your hospitality. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you, DeeDee, as well.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate y'all. So make sure y'all be safe and join me when I do come back up here, which I don't know when that's gonna be, but just keep watching.
All right.
All right, y'all take
All
care.
right, Daryl, DeeDee, you guys have a nice weekend as well over there. So stay safe as well. All right.
See y'all later.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna remove this. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Listen, hit the like button on your way out, y'all. Shout out to y'all. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Shout out to everybody who supports the channel in any way, shape, or form. Make sure you guys continue to watch the videos posted on the channel, y'all. Hit the like button, share them, and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. Y'all have fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Y'all be safe out here in these streets. I will see you guys really, really soon. I'll try to have more videos posted on the channel really soon. And I will be back probably later next week with the live stream. But make sure you hit that bell to make sure that it's turned on so you'll get my notifications. All right. Thank y'all once again. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. Y'all be blessed. And I will see you in the next one. Mwah. I'll see y'all later. Bye.